It is time. The finals of ESA Cup Season 6. Well, it's week 1 of 2 for this singular elimination bracket. I'm Pasta, joined by Poobal, and we have a game today. Unsurprisingly, because you're here watching us. Team Missclick versus Project 100, and I think you'll agree with me, Joe. This one is quite an intriguing one that we're going to see play out.
Yeah, well, it's got that Project 100 team, which has really sort of made a name for themselves as being one of the stronger teams in this entire league. Yeah. And it's also a case of these two teams have only actually met each other once, and it's very recent. It was the start of this month. I believe it was in RSX, and it was a 2-0 win for Project 100.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming into this, which again is that best of 3 format, you might actually say that Project 100 are quite favoured. Now, if you remember from the very start of the season, I spoke to Fod of Project 100, and he said that they weren't actually that confident in best of 3s. They thought that, you know, they were good at best of 1s, but they really struggled when it came to those, you know, longer series. But they are feeling slightly more confident now. You know, had a chat, especially considering that 2-0 win. They said their results in RSX, they haven't been brilliant, but they can definitely can show up. You know, we've seen it, especially looking at RSX, looking at that series against Odessa at the end of the playoffs. They can find results, but I think you'll agree with me here. They seem to be very, very momentum based, if you want to explain that.
Yeah, I think the big thing, the sort of saving grace almost of Project 100 is they started off really well. They had that 5-0, just completely flawless group stage, not even an overtime map being dropped. And then things started to go a bit poorly in playoffs. They were dropping maps. But then right at the end, they managed to build that momentum back. They ended up getting a 2-0 win in best of 3. So their first best of 3 in this competition, they did end up actually winning. So I think Project 100 are really sort of on the rise here, and that could be really quite brutal for Missclick because they could be going against an incredibly sort of fired up P100 side.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look, if we can, at the map veto. I don't know if we have that. So let's just cut to that and we'll have a look here. So it seems like we're going to be starting on Chalet, going to Bank, and then Clubhouse Decider should we require it. Now, this is interesting, Joe, because let's have a look again at that RSX game between these two teams. The maps were Bank Map 1, Chalet Map 2, and then Oregon Decider. And as you can see, Oregon and Club were the 2 maps left at the end. And Clubhouse was left right to the end in that RSX game as well. So clearly, you know, very similar sort of map pool here. However, again, it was a 2-0 win for Project 100. It was a 7-5 win on Chalet. And, you know, they said themselves that could have gone either way. But still, they have that momentum. They have that previous record.
Yeah, and I honestly, to sort of add a little prediction, I think that Project 100 are probably going to run away with this series. I think they already 2-0'd Missclick once, and that was when they were sort of in that a bit of a slump going down. And now they're really on the rise. They're playing the 2 exact same maps that they already beat them on. I think Project 100 are really probably going to win this. But let's see what the community think. We had a vote go out here, and it's dead even. 50-50. So the community really just split on what teams they think are going to win this.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, look at Chalet, look at Bank. It seems like there might be some sort of preference here, but as we can see, according to the stats, Chalet's actually Missclick's worst map. So obviously that does only take into account ESA, but you know,
it's interesting because obviously ESA is sort of recent history. So if Chalet, if it is their worst map here, sure, it might be all right in RSX, but still around, I'd say 50% of recent history would probably be their matches here. So that still shows that Chalet isn't a great map for them, and I believe that's the one they're starting off on. So they've really got to get a strong step forward, because I think if P100 sort of snaps up that map, really, it's going to be quite brutal making that comeback on Bank.
Yeah, and actually something very interesting is that it's Team Missclick that picked this map. Team Missclick chose to go to Chalet. Which
we've had that before.
Is interesting to say
we've had teams sort of try and take their worst map, because worst map could also just be a case of they've lost it like twice, they've not played it since then. So it's kind of almost like hidden strats, you know, the old sort of moniker of we're saving strats. But if they really feel confident in the fact that they've truly sort of revolutionized their play on Chalet, then they very much could beat P100 on it. But at the same time, this is Project 100. This is that flawless 5-0-0-0 group stage team. This is that real powerhouse. So it's a big risk as we head out onto that very map itself, Chalet.
Yeah, heading over to the French Alps for the face-off between these two teams. So we start to head into this ban phase. Then, what are your predictions for which operators will be seeing taken away?
I always go Nook. I always say Nook in the console links. I think with Chalet especially, there's a lot of different stairways, a lot of places for the attackers to sort of lurk around, and a lot of soft floor for those nades to be used. So I'm going to say Nook and be absolutely wrong, because it's Flores going off the board first.
Yeah, I mean, we could still see a Nook ban here from Team Missclick, but, you know, it might not be. Although Project 100 did ban Flores and Team Missclick did ban Nook in that previous series, but this time they're opting for a Dokkaebi.
Yeah, I've been proven wrong, but these are still very useful bans. The Dokkaebi specifically allows for you to get a little bit more active with your roaming. You can be in a little bit more sort of risky positions, and the Flores is a natural sort of counter to Azami specifically, so we might end up seeing an Azami ban there just to keep her in check, and sure enough, Azami taken off the board. Very, very powerful operator here, but now we're into that real sort of big decision for the final defensive ban here, because you've got that Valk, you've got the Solace, you've got the Fenrir, and you've only got one ban, so who do you pick here? I would probably go with the Solace as well, specifically just with the amount of soft floor she can sort of play through. But the Valk gets taken off instead, so Solace and Fenrir, they survive the ban phase.
Well, this is going to be a very oppressive defense, I would assume. Solace and Fenrir being allowed through, that's going to be really, really tough for the attack. And yeah, we see both of those operators in round one straight away.
Yep, the Fenrir can be very good at stopping those pushes, specifically down things like staircases where you're going to be in a bit of a cramped position. We see 3 of them straight away from this view. All 3 sort of entrances from that base floor to the basement are very, very cramped in just enclosed spaces, so a Fenrir gadget can really hold momentum there. Warden being brought as well, a sort of operator we didn't mention, doesn't really get banned a lot, but it's certainly picked a hell of a lot. We've seen just countless times the ability, the sort of impact that operator can have. MPX 11.5 can be a lethal tool, and that Solace, I believe, playing around library, but all the way above, so I would imagine he's going to be draining that train utility initially, but Cobra, he's getting a bit more aggressive. Spawn peek here from the Solace, but I don't think it's going to yield anything.
No, it seems like everyone's run past it. Everyone's made it safe at least this far for Team Missclick, who, again, it's going to be a tough time for them. They've even spoke about having some internal issues as well within the team. So, you know, players on holiday, as is their right to do. Players that have stopped playing Siege. You've got people that left like Eternal who's had to come back to fill for this tournament. And it looks like, again, Project 100 should come away with a round here, but it all comes down to these gunfights, which we haven't actually seen much at all yet. Yasko is maybe going to be called out first, but no. No.
A little bit of lag there, I think, but Pizza does claim that first kill. So the Solace, that real sort of power player we were talking about, that powerful operator, cut down really early. Not a lot of impact gained there. Not even a lick of damage dealt to Missclick. So that's a good sign. Now you can start ripping away the floor with that sledge. Fod, cloaked by that gas, just escapes. Really just dealt dirty there. Wow.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Well, that's the power of Fenrir, I guess. Okay. Somehow, Fod is able to escape with his life, and Caesar finds one on the top floor as well. So it's now back down to a 4 versus 4 these final 80 seconds of the round. And we can see that Team Missclick are starting to apply more pressure onto the site. It was Pizza that went down, so didn't go down without a pick at least. Still opportunity for everyone on the team to find their impact. Well, here come the smoke grenades, here comes that EE1D as well, and Konski's going to try to get the plant down. On the garage door, Will is down here as well, but there's people coming through, not pulled out, and Konski gets down. Will, it's scrappy, but he found it. Konski is going to be able to be picked up, but now Caesar's up here on the top floor, 3 versus 2 for this attacking side as Eternal finds another, but this vertical position is going to be so deadly and so difficult for Caesar to contend with as it stands. So, well, there's the first kill. Plant still going down from Will. Eternal rushes over to try and get there. Not able to find the pick through a wall. And there's the swing from Connector. Still, Caesar persists on these mains. There's a lot of health on those attacking players though. And Caesar is left with barely a scrap on his own HP bar. Trying to swing through. Pushes up quite far. But there's a swing from Eternal. Somehow, some way, Team Missclick, they get their first round in a very scrappy ending.
Yeah, that's exactly the word to sort of describe that round, was scrappy. There were a lot of very sort of almost rough to watch gunfights there, and I think in all that scrappiness, in all the chaos, it actually allowed for Missclick to sort of just creep in through the wine cellar. We saw a lot of kills go their way when a lot of defensive attention was sort of brought towards that snowmobile site. So I would imagine anyway that Eternal and the rest of his teammates were just sort of slinking around the back, waiting for that prime opportunity, because it was a very odd plant decision. Just planting in the smoke when you don't have site control, really, when you're playing against a warden and there's no real direct cover to counter him. It was a very strange plant, and it seemed to be just a full commit from Konski, but in that chaos, they did manage to really just rip the site apart there. So commiserations to the side of P100 there. They had a decent sort of time-wasting drone game to start off there. They did lose some bodies, and Fod was really bailed out by the Fenrir gadget there. But Missclick, just in that final sort of execute portion of the round, they really just came out ahead.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Absolutely. Cobra is up on this top floor yet again, but this time no Stormzy is going to be setting things up. So that aggression that they tried the last time around isn't quite going to be shown again back in the same site, but you know, there's still the attempts at it. Pizza this time with the Brava tries to find something on the site to hack, but shot out by Caesar. And here's a very early opening breach here, Joe. Konski's already got this wall open within the first 30 seconds. The Vulcan canisters will at least stall 20 more, but that leaves over 2 minutes of the round for leveraged, for just any sort of positioning to be gained from that breach.
Yeah, and honestly, it's something you don't see a lot of time. It's really good play from Konski to just immediately breach that wall. Sure, it's free, sure you can do it later, but applying that pressure immediately, just getting one of those sort of actions on your to-do list ticked immediately. Really good play from Missclick there, just having that kind of order of operations processed correctly here. Cobra is still going to be a bit of a nuisance around games, but they're just going to be feeding drones into him as Yosgo actually gets his revenge, gets rid of Caesar there, so immediately E100 on that back foot once again. Will just jumps into library. They're trying to isolate Cobra here, but there's no real drone usage being brought here. The lion scan almost for nothing, I'd say, as Cobra is still just sneaking around in bar.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where Konski died, actually, as Pizza takes down Fod, so advantage again for Missclick. But there comes the swing. Oh, Nerd, it's crappy! Finds the fight. Cobra in trouble, exactly where we saw Fod in the exact same dire situation in the previous round, but this time isn't quite so lucky. Nerd is also in a difficult spot here. There's one player that goes down on this other side, and Will gets a tag from Nerd as well. Up goes the speed 4 from Peter. That's not going to land. A little bit more damage to Will, who's taken just tiny pieces every single time, but there's a more significant chunk. Eternal, last player left alive, had 3 in the previous round, needs to get 2 here to try and clutch it out, because Yasko is not getting revived anytime soon. They still don't have diffuser.
Interesting.
I still don't know where
gonna
Komsky
say-
died, by the way. I still don't know. Was it on the breach?
I am just as unsure as you are. Eternal cooking a nade on what I think was a bit of hard floor there. Choosing against that, making a lot of noise, breaking that barbed wire when I'm not sure if it was really worth it. Gives away his position, and somehow P100 take away that round despite conceding near total site control. But, well, they get it done anyway. The gun of the Warden just too good there.
Well then.
Well then, indeed. Was it another scrappy round? I guess.
I thought that he'd whiffed that at the end, because it looked like Eternal might have been able to get a shot off there, and
Defenders,
yeah, that was
protect your bombs
scary.
from being defused by attackers.
My only question remaining is, where on earth did Komsky die with a diffuser like immediately? Was it on that? Was he trying a similar plant? That's the only thing I can think of. But then why did Eternal not grab diffuser in that situation?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seemed like a plant should have been incredibly doable there. They could have locked off the site with that bird canister. I was going to say there's a bit of decision making for Eternal there. Does he pop the canister, give away his position, or bait for a kill? Turns out the defenders just run into his just welcoming arms. So good play from the Yana there, just kind of exit at the final hurdle. I just hope that this isn't sort of indicative of this whole mess. Because although Scrappy Siege can be funny, I think it's only fun to sort of a limit. I would maybe like to see a couple less sort of messy gunfights here. As P100 now taking us up to the top floor site here, very sort of standard setup with Nerd on that Mozzie just roaming below. Fenrir being brought as well. Cobra just loving these new ops, but unfortunately for him, hasn't found much impact on them.
No, still sitting on a donut, but there's opportunity for that to change here in round 3. Eternal, very, very quick entry towards the west main stairs. Perhaps a nade for bathroom with us. No information available. Nerd should have been able to hear that grenade go off, be at least somewhat aware that someone's inside a west main, but in the minute it seems like he's just still watching over towards Trophy. Just angle this gunfight being held. Pizza again, it's a third opening pick in a row for Team Missclick, and this time they're able to double down on it. 5 versus 3. Cobra, nearly finds a shot through the wall, but it's not to be. Pizza taking some damage as well. A very scrappy opening minute, camped off with a kill from Fod onto Komsky.
Yeah, still man advantage in favour of Missclick here, and they've got quite a lot of pressure building towards the site. They still haven't really got a foot up on that top floor yet. The ground floor is basically theirs, and they've got pressure coming from the balcony as well. Nades and explosives just continue singing out. Fod really in a very dangerous position anywhere. He's on such low health, a little bit of splash damage would take him out. Still, these Missclick members more than happy to just spam the ceiling with their explosives. A little bit of drone usage to try and deal with that dread mine there. It ends up getting it actually. So that's a really good bit of utility taken down. It's going to facilitate a much easier push up those solarium stairs if Pizza wants to deal with that, or as if will even. Pizza also still just holding down the solarium.
Fod just baiting the vertical grenade there. Blinked into the line of sight, dips away because they know that they're holding those vertical nades, but Eternal again rushes up the stairs. That's why they clear out the Dreadnought, and there is another kill. Yasko going down. Caesar is going to need to find the clutch here. 1 versus 4, doesn't look likely. Nade gets caught by that magnet, but he's just jumped into the line of sight, easily taken down, and that's the second round on the board for Team Missclick. Chalet again, all of these rounds look pretty scrappy.
Yeah, although in fairness to Missclick there, it was a much more dominant round win there. I believe 4 alive, so nearly a flawless round there. Fod played very, very aggressive that round, despite being on such low health. So I like that Project 100 still have that bit of spark in them, even if things haven't been going exactly the best for them so far. They are going to be going back towards this top floor site there, so they've clearly seen something they can work on. I think maybe a bit more focus on that ground floor is what you need, as Missclick have shown that they aren't really opting for these horizontal clears. They'd rather just go below, let their utility sink, let those nades really do all the work and clear out maybe the one defender that's there. But if they really sort of reinforce those positions, you could certainly stall the way that Missclick wants to play this. Of course, the big risk with that is if you sink too much utility down there, Missclick might just make the audible call, let's go for the library, clear from the south. So it is a bit of a balancing act for the 100 area. It looks like they aren't really opting to deal with that ground floor again, so it could provide similar issues for them as it did last round. Those nades specifically, 6 of them being brought inside of Missclick, so it's going to be very difficult to hold those standard positions.
Yeah, we've got the Brava coming through from Constantly as well, and this will also help just clear out some of that utility. I agree with you. I'm worried for this round for Project 100, although they do also now know that Nerd is inside the kitchen as well, the only player downstairs. It's moved on to a Jaeger, so we're seeing a slightly more utility-focused lineup here from Project 100, but again, it comes down to those gunfights, and they're very quickly closing in onto Nerd's position. More drones coming through now. He just has to be wary of being swung from 2, 3 angles. Pizza is going to be coming around. Spots behind the table, and there's a nade up. But no, Pizza can't land the shot. Finally, first time in this game, we have an opening pick for Project 100.
Yeah, but quickly traded by Eternal, so once again it seems like that ground floor has been secured. Still, all those operators with the nades remaining, a couple of them spent already, but there's still plenty of potential for destruction, so P100 really should start focusing on really retaking this. Now they have Cobra, drops down, still on 0 kills, but every donut is an opportunity for a breadstick. So you can still end up picking up bodies here. In fact, elsewhere, Peter gets the damage done. Fod as well. Caesar, it was killed with the shorty as Caesar takes up more aggressive positioning on the library. Castro could be really caught off guard here, but it looks like Caesar just looked away.
Well, I did not expect Fod to be getting a super shorty kill. And there's Cobra. Finds impact from the Dread Mine, although the jump in was probably going to cleared anyway, let's face it, with or without the utility. But again, finds a kill, and now it's just on Will. This time, 1 versus 4 in the other direction. And this puts Project 100 on track for even a 4-2 half, which when we consider the last time these two teams played on Chalet, it started out as a 4-2 attacking half from Team Missclick. So, let's extrapolate here. It's already 2-2. And last time it was a 4-2 into a very successful attacking half from Project 100, right? However, this time it's the first map of the series, not the second. And I spoke to Fod earlier, and he said that when they don't start quick, it takes its toll on this team, especially if they lose Chalet, which could have gone any way in that series that these two teams played. If they lose here, then they have an immense amount of pressure on themselves to claim their own map pick of bank to take it to Clubhouse, and also they don't have that momentum coming through. So I think whoever wins this map will probably win the series 2-0. We said that would probably be Project 100, but Team Missclick, if they're able to get that 4-2 half again, they might just be able to hold on for a little bit longer last time, cinch the map, and then possibly even push the bank. Obviously, we're only 4 rounds in, but,
Yeah, it can be a lot more difficult sort of making those sort of bigger sort of comebacks when you aren't warmed up into things. You've seen it before with players subbing new people in, and then they end up just getting absolutely smoked by the players who've already played an entire map. Sure, you can do warm-up, you can do aim training, but that doesn't really sort of come close to the advantage that already playing a map can have on you. Constantly immediately going back to this wall, opening it up, adding a lot of pressure there. Really just continual good play from Missclick, getting that as an avenue that he can immediately use to try and get some kills, try and spook the defense a bit. They don't even need players there, they can just use it as phantom pressure. As Will turns out someone who definitely is there, that's Cobra on Library, quickly dropping below and just taking that bar position he's used previously.
Yeah. Question is, how long does he stay? We saw him overstay his welcome in round number 2, got taken out for it. This time, Well, we'll just have to see. Still hanging about in bar. Obviously, no pressure's come through yet. It would be rather silly to actually clear out of that position just now. But, you know, again, we don't want to see another odd situation from round 1. We don't want to see what happened to Cobra in round 2, which is just being taken out before you can even get down back to the bomb site and help out your team, who has only found 1 kill in this game as well. So having success in this position would, I think, massively boost that mental. And yeah, just gets out, doesn't stay too long. 90 seconds.
Yeah, Cobra, though, still in a bit of a difficult position here. That ceiling
no.
being ripped up above. Nerd, very low HP, just stop, drop, and roll to get out of there. But Cobra on site still isn't as safe as he may think. The breach being opened so early gives Missclick so many opportunities to cut off the defense. Nerd, eventually, despite his best fire training, gets downed at least. Peter, though, takes one. What? Cobra gets another Caesar here to protect his fallen comrade in kitchen, and suddenly P100 beginning to pull it back with code being dropped. Technical 3v3, quickly going to be a 3v4, I'd assume, as Nerd gets picked up. Vod gets another goes the way of P100,
wow,
and they win it out.
Well, that was something. Finding their stride here for Project 100 on this basement site. Can't go there again. So we're going to see a new third site. Will it be kitchen? Will it be bar? And they're going to the bar gaming. Agree, disagree? Is this the right shot?
I think, obviously, they can't pick basement, and obviously they can't pick the second floor. So yeah. I think their kitchen defense... I don't think we have seen a kitchen defense. No. I think bar is probably the better choice. I think bar fits better overall in this kind of deathmatch meta, I think, because of the player buff. I think in library, you can sort of drain a lot of time. You can get a lot of impact just playing around library, around the mezzanine position. The big sort of sticking point, though, P100 haven't brought that mirror, and that mirror really is sort of a must pick here. It allows you to play all the way back to the mezzanine with that sort of almost security of having the window in front of you, being able to see what you're actually swinging. So it's all going to really be on blind swings from these P100 players up here. We're seeing a little bit of a roam on that north side. It's just Caesar. I'm not sure if he's just hunting drones or if he plans on staying there. It'll be potentially just a higher risk, high reward position. He could catch any attackers that want to go for a clear there. Peter, though, in trophy with a very cheeky spawn peek, but unfortunately for him, not even a chance. It's just no one spawning there.
Yeah, and the other thing as well. Okay, there we go. He's found his spawn kill as Peter. Was that west main? Yeah, that must have been that west main window, right?
It must be. There's no other sort of opening there, so
there
unlucky.
We go. Wow.
Oh, that's long. That's a long range peek there.
Yeah, Pete's unlucky. Try again next time because yeah, that's rough. And again, another thing. Okay, I'm not able to get my point out because as soon as I start trying to speak,
play by play. You're a play. What talk? Say them killing people.
Yeah, them killing people. There we go. I've done my job. Have a good night, everyone. No, I was just gonna say that you could excuse the mirror not being played if they had an Azami, but obviously Azami's banned, so
yeah,
who knows?
And I guess their plan almost is just don't even rely on a library sort of hold. Just get full balls to the wall aggression, and it has worked. To be fair, so far 3 versus 5 Eternal. Looks like he might be next on the chopping block, only half of his health remaining there. No nades either, so it's going to be difficult to dislodge those mezzanine players. Will, 1 kill to his name, bless him, all alone on that top floor. Got a mountain of work ahead of him, really has to dislodge an entire sort of defensive setup around that mezzanine position. Konski baiting around in the basement. This whole Missclick attack is so disconnected when you're already in a bad man disadvantage situation, and the Goonidle, it really makes things worse.
Yeah, Konski and Eternal, the last players left alive, and now Konski's being taken down. A lot of damage dealt. Has to dip away, and there's another Goomite just to add insult to injury. And there's a swing from Fod. 1 versus 5. Project 100. Well, we said they're a momentum-based team. They found their momentum on the precipice of a flawless round to end the half here. And it would be a 4-2 unless Konski can pull off the unimaginable. It's not to be. They have their flawless. They have their 4-2 half. Project 100, they're looking good here, Joe.
Yeah, and I think this next round, round 7, might be the sort of pivotal point here. If P100 get this 5th, I think it's all over for Missclick here. But if Missclick can win this round, sort of put a halt on that momentum that's been built up by Project 100, they still have a chance in this map. But I think once it gets to 5-2, it's really looking problematic, and Missclick may as well be focusing on how to do bank differently here. You
Defenders,
can't
protect
afford to
your
let
bombs from being
P100 keep
defused by attackers.
rolling this sort of snowball down the hill. You've got to stop it before it gets any bigger, before it gets even more menacing. That flawless round really just shows the aggression, the power that Project 100 have at their disposal as Missclick. They go all the way down to the basement. Interesting choice here. I would honestly, this whole site sort of rotation, I think, has been a bit interesting. It almost just brings to that ranked rotation almost of go basement first, then go second floor, and then go something else. But in reality, the stats, to my knowledge anyway, do tend to favor those first floor sites over basement. So it's interesting that both these teams have gone down here. I guess it's almost just a comfort thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
It's weird that it's happened twice, right? I thought, oh, maybe it's just a P100. Oh, well, there we go. Pizza, taste of his own medicine there. Taken out on the spawn peak by Pizza. That's not going to be great for them, but here we go. This almost feels like a copy and paste. Vods opening that breach up within the first 30 seconds. I've heard that phrase before. And now the pressure starts to come through on the top floor from this Project 100 side. Droning things out. You have the Solis up there. Knows that the drones are coming through, and Cobra will be on the end of it. Spots out the punch hole, but there's no one playing behind it. Instead, they've moved over towards that sort of piano area. Caesar as well, trying to send some pressure, send some, or just anything over towards Library, towards Bar, but everyone's cleared out of these positions. They're not making the same mistakes as Caesar, taking out Will, finding one back. Pizza could go aggressive here, but just faints the pressure. There is going to be FOD falling, though, from Eternal.
Yeah, bodies being dropped on the side of P100 here as they've still got a little bit of control on this top floor, but there's so many threats constantly popping up around the map that they've got to be very careful. A large defensive presence around Kitchen here with... there's no one actually on the side, I believe, unless Eternal is... I think Eternal might be in the basement there just playing around blue, but still... One man there joined by his fellow comrade of Yasko, but still, it's quite a weak site defense here. They've gone very invested into this roam here, and that could have provided P100 with an opportunity. The opportunity has since gone now. There's more support at the basement itself. So they've really got a hard task ahead of them here. They've got to try and isolate the pick. Going down this stairs going to be caught a bit of guard, but the remaining defenders in Kitchen just strike, take Nerd off the board, and P100 really look like they're going to lose this round.
Yeah, they need a miracle, and they need, honestly, for Cobra to start firing. 2 and Thor playing the Ash. This is prime operator to start finding these sorts of kills. Flash called by the Magnet. Bod was actually killed in through the breach. Konski going down. The Banshee will be a problem for Caesar, now all alone as well. Rushes in through, taken down Yasko. Team Missclick, they have a lifeline, they have their third round. It's 4-3. They've brought it back to within 1. And that's their first successful defense on this map.
Yeah, it just sort of seemed like P100 could never really get into the round after that spawn peak. It seemed like whatever they tried, Missclick had an appropriate response. They were also very hesitant to leave their extended positions, staying in that kitchen for most of the round, and it did end up reaping its rewards. They managed to continually pick these attackers off guard. So Missclick, very good job in that third on the round, particularly because they've stopped that momentum. They've halted P100 for now, and now they should really make the most of this opportunity they've been given. P100 back, sort of, well, not on the back foot, there's still an advantage in this map, but still, momentum-wise, they have been stopped. They are very much in the disadvantage. So if P100 lose this next round, if Missclick can sort of string the second defensive round, get that 4-4 half, things may look a lot brighter for them, but they're going to this kitchen here. It's not been chosen as a secondary site for the side of P100. It will be for Missclick, so it's going to be heavily reliant on this top floor roam, and it's a very wide roam at that. We're seeing Konski on that mirror all the way over at Library, so they very much are sort of hoping that the side of P100 go for that sort of south side clear, and that's a big risk because if you don't invest enough utility around your side itself, what's stopping P100 from just walking over them?
Well,
That apparently.
that's not great. That's for sure. Eternal, what is Project 100 doing? Two people have just ran into a window that I think it's the same window, and they've just been taken down. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that one, to be honest with you, Joe.
It's a questionable start as Caesar continues this trend of jumping in, and Yasko, not sure why there was no response there. Was his headphones not plugged in? Did he assume it was just a pop shot from outside? Either way, mezzanine control has now been gained by B100, which gives them a bit of a footing, but their main entry of Cobra is still so low. You can't survive anything here.
No, I'm really struggling to see where the success comes for Project 100 in this round. It might be the sneaky push through from Caesar. He's not being quiet about it, though. And this could be detrimental. There is the swing from Will. What a flick from Caesar! Taken down by Eternal C4, who's already found 11 kills in this game. And Cobra next up to the chopping block, but this time on a lot lower HP. And he's just going to have to try and take a swing. Pizza still close on this corner, and Cobra has absolutely no idea about it. Pizza takes a swing again. We're seeing these very scrappy whiff gunfights from both of these sides, but Team Missclick, they look poised to actually take this up to equal round count. 4 versus 4. The proximity alarm goes off as well. That is certainly going to be good information for this side. And rotation was heard, but not dealt with. Eternal, I mean, what a game he's having. Again, reminder, has had to step back into the team after leaving because of personal issues with some players. They couldn't fill the roster for the rest of ESA. So Eternal stepped back in after leaving this team. And, well, I mean, they would be absolutely lost without him in this game. He's already on, like, what, I think 12 or 13 kills?
I believe 12 in 8 rounds is an incredible play from him. Really proving his value, and he's not even on those sort of hard entry roles, I don't believe. He's sort of in that flex position, playing that Frost here, so not the most mobile of operator without the best gun either here, but still, even if he drops no kills here, he'll have impact. He has that shield, he has those mats that will provide a bit of intel, so overall, Eternal's having a great match so far, and P100 were having a great match, but that lead has since been lost, and that looked like a very frustrated P100 side that last round. You pointed out 2 of them jumping in through windows, dying. Sure, you had Caesar then just deciding to join the party, somehow gets away with a kill after jumping just completely hastily through another window. It seemed like they weren't paying Missclick the proper respect. I'm not sure if that was because they were a bit annoyed that they lost their first attacking round, or if they were just decided they were going to catch them off guard. Either way, it didn't work, and it really led to a dominant Missclick round there, so P100 are going to need to change up their strategy.
Yeah. We need to see something different here, because, again, momentum-based team, they've now lost 2 rounds in a row, and they weren't even that close. It was... This is some worrying signs from Project 100. It's not, you know, fully panic stations or anything like that just yet, but, you know, that we have to see something better. Will here using those Mozzie drones just to get some information. Cobra is going to be aware of that, but there's the first kill. Again, it's coming through from Team Missclick, and Pizza doubles down on Komsky's opener. That's both Caesar and Nerd going down. 4 of your 6 nades gone, and to make matters worse, Cobra's in a frost map. Eternal taken out FOD. Pizza's essentially got a 1v5 this. Gets one.
Does take down that one player, but still, to try and help. Never mind. Cobra put out of his misery. It's now definitely a 1 versus X statistically anyway, so Peter, he has got a mountain of work ahead of him. Konsky playing that Doc as well, something we didn't even point out there, just clearly likes the P90. Maybe he can't play Solus, so he's like, okay, I still want to use the gun, I'll go Doc instead. Not a single Doc gadget been used, but then again, there's no real need for it, no player taking down health at all. Just narrowly misses Konski there, but still so much more work to be done and not a lick of damage dealt to any of the 4 remaining defenders.
Eternal's on 14 kills, by the way. Just to point that out, that is ridiculous. And here comes Peter
The 15.
to make it 15. And there's the timeout coming through from Team Missclick.
I guess you just want to be able to close it out, maybe?
Yeah,
You
but
feel
I
like
don't
you
know.
don't
Giving
wanna
Project
choke it?
100 the chance to talk is risky, to say the least.
Yeah, especially as that seemed... Like, if P100 were frustrated in that other round, it seems like this round would make them even more mad. You see, you die to a Doc, a sort of very much a ranked pick. You get frostmatted as well. You get almost flawless. So maybe they are almost hoping that, whereas the Missclick side is very calm, very sort of happy, that you're hoping this timeout only just leads to P100 devolving into chaos. That's the only sort of reasoning I could think of here, because they aren't even on map point here, so it's not a case of, you know, trying to just be able to finish it out. You've still got to get another round before you get to that point. So it is a very sort of questionable timeout there, or maybe one of the players just need to go to the toilet. I don't really know, but either way, they've burned their timeout here. I think maybe the first timeout I've ever seen in at least from the playoffs onwards. A lot of teams don't tend to use that. They just feel like they want to just play it in the moment. Either way, Missclick used that timeout. They're going back down to the basement, which gave them quite a bit of success.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they
Yeah,
can.
absolutely. It was the closest round, but then they all haven't really been spectacularly close. This one came down to, I think, a 3 versus 1, which, being the closest round, is a bit absurd, to be quite frank. Project 100, they really need to find a second gear here, because they haven't won... It's been 3 rounds in a row for Team Missclick. They haven't even won around this far. And again, they've said it themselves, they start slow, it can be absolute disaster for the team. And, you know, Fod has said it many times, has been in the top 4 every single ESA season, but has never been able to find the trophy. This is the one that they really wanted to push that. But for them to be winners and for them to be champion caliber, we need to be able to see them coming out of deficits like this. I mean, preferably they wouldn't be in these deficits in the first place, but we need to see them show that much resilience.
Yeah, there's still plenty of opportunities to take this map. They can still even take it in regulation away from Missclick. Will still not had the best game, but his teammates are really picking up the slack for him. A bit of a late setup there on the mezzanine. Could have been caught off guard a bit there, but does get away with that, but not for long. Gets taken down by Cobra, who's just stormed into the mezzanine. They see the shoulder of Peter, I believe, who narrowly gets away.
Nice
just
kill.
take out his friend, Caesar. Taken off the board as Cobra now sustains a lot of damage as
Eternal
Missclick.
again.
They've just kept going. They've managed to stop the bleeding. Eternal on 16 kills, Cameron. How does he do it?
Oh my god, Peter! Though, taking down...
With a shotgun?
The FO12.
They're trying
That's
to
rude.
get in their head. They
Yeah.
must be trying to get in their head now.
That's so rude. And Eternal, I'm sorry to cut you off with just my reaction to that ridiculous kill. But yeah, FO12 is just rude. That's clearly like just mental shenanigans. I mean, actually, to be fair, I don't know how the Scorpion controls on a controller. I don't really know what that's like, but
Well, then just don't play Ella. Like,
well, yeah,
you have so many incredibly strong operators in the defense that surely Ella must be just a kind of pick to annoy them. Because there's mines as well. The concussion effect, sure, it's useful tactically, but it can be so irritating.
It's so annoying.
It can be so annoying just getting
especially
concussed, all
when you
these
keep
things.
getting thrashed like this.
Yeah. I genuinely think Missclick are going full in on mental warfare. Maybe we're just adding a narrative to where there isn't one, but it seems like they are trying their hardest to break P100's mental here, and it really looks like it's working.
The timeout is just like, let's just mess with them.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, this is great. Nago is prepping a nade. Oh boy, he gets caught!
Yeah.
No!
Martyrdom.
No! Oh, it bounced, it ricocheted off of the railings, and now that's left Fod. I mean, in a 1 versus 2, it was a 1v3. Takes the drop, the flashbang comes through. Crosses to the other side, another flashbang. And there's a lovely kill. Eternal being taken down. Suddenly it's just Yasko who's prepared for this, but finds a wall bang. Project 100, that's what they needed. Exactly what the doctor ordered from VOD. Brings them back into this. And if that doesn't hype them up, if that doesn't get the squad firing, well, I don't know what will.
A nice clutch, basic but clean, fantastic crosshair placement from VOD there. And that's really, as you said, it's going to get P100 back into this after a round that was, quite frankly, miserable for them, especially with those Ella shotgun-like antics, with the kind of just annoyances that Missclick have continually brought. Getting a nice clutch like that is going to be a sort of almost like a cathartic moment for them. So, really, this is where it could start getting a little bit scary for Missclick here. P100, they are still on those 5 rounds. They're 1 round away from getting to that point, 2 away from winning this map in regulation. So, Missclick maybe aren't in as a secure a position as it might have seemed. The mental warfare, it worked for a bit, but if you can't win out those clutches, it might have a bit of an opposite effect. We're seeing Missclick forgo the silly operators now. They're on this kind of these standard meta picks. That Flawless, that Fenrir, the Warden, bringing the Goyo as well for that area denial, particularly very effective in those cramped corridors in the basement. So they are really now back to fully trying, fully playing almost logically, as P100 was sort of given a lifeline by that FOD clutch.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to feel for Konski, right? Pushing up into the nades and then FOD gets the 1v2 off the back of it. That's tough.
It's not great.
Hey, what can you do? It's in the past. Let's just press on, because we've still got a lot of game left to go for this one. Well, we hope so. 10 rounds done, we're guaranteed all regulation. But we might even see an overtime here, Joe.
It's looking likely. It really is. As this 100 attack has been almost uncharacteristically very cautious here. We're seeing them just holding their angles, droning out everything. A far cry from the rapid jump-ins we saw at the start of this half. They're really just trying to maintain this control from outside and ensure that it's a safe entry option. They've scared away Konski on that Goya, which is good. Peach as well, on the opposite side of this map, not really finding any impacts. He's also forced to rotate, and I think P100 have basically gained this top floor for free for now, as Caesar actually pushes through Kitchen, does get traded, but Konski taken down.
Yeah, good start for Project 100. The trade comes through, which is unfortunate, particularly onto the Jackal, and that could be an issue. Peter's taken out by Yasko. Cobra and Nerve continuing to apply some pressure from this top floor. They have to transition all the way down to the bottom. And, well, that's a diffuser down. FOD not able to repeat the same successes from that previous round. And now Nerd is in a difficult situation. Does he choose to go for the fight here? Does he even know where Pizza's playing? Because he's close on this angle. He's able to find the third. The SMG-11 this time, not the P90. Stolas' kit so oppressive and so good for those fraggers. And Pizza has definitely found his mark. 3 in the round. Cobra now left in 1 versus 4 and Missclick. Well, they're looking like they might be the ones that get up to that map point early on.
Yeah, Cobra taken down. Such an impossible task, really, for him. Yeah. So many different angles. The Missclick defenders could have been hiding. It ends up being Yasko on that Warden, taking quite a mid-range angle through another room. So, unlucky for the side of P100 there. Unlucky for the Ash, but very lucky for Team Missclick here, as they've gotten to map point here. They're 1 round away from locking down this first map, and it would force P100 to take us to that tiebreaker map of Clubhouse. So we would be seeing something different from the previous series if P100 does make a bit of a comeback here. But either way, Team Missclick on a strong foot forward. But at the end of the day, P100, they're only 1 round away from being in that exact same spot. We're very likely going to be overtime here as Missclick choose to defend this kitchen. Once again, going to require a top floor room. Konski on that mirror, providing a lot of utility, can lock down these angles, mean that even if we go for one of these sort of common early breaches that we've seen throughout this map, it's not going to be that easy. Konski is going to have that window looking directly at the main kitchen wall. It's going to still require a lot of effort from the attack to reach past that. And the attack, of P100. Overall, despite having a fairly good defensive half, they just haven't seemed as active as they were on that defense. They're lacking a bit of that confidence, which is likely caused by that sort of momentum shift as we saw Missclick begin to string those rounds together. And it really is quite concerning, particularly if you're a P100 fan, because they actually started off well. Usually we talk about them having slow starts and they fail. If they have a quick start, they win. They had a quick start here, and they're still at a disadvantage. So it's really almost uncharacteristic for P100, and it's quite a cause for concern.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, you said it. It's worrying. But
Reloading.
again, it's just one round.
Yeah.
However, again, very different to that previous series because we saw a 4-2 attacking half and then a 1-5 attacking half previous time around. This time, we will either see 2 4-2 defenses or a 4-2 and a 5-1, which is stark contrast. Both these teams have either gotten worse at attacking or gotten better at defending. I'm going to go with the latter because it sounds nicer.
Yeah. We were actually positive here.
Yeah, the defense has stepped up for both of these teams. And this time, the attack of Project 100, you know, they need to be able to find this pressure. The Cobra popping out Yasko. This is going to be a lot more pressure onto this bandit who's decided to swing through. Actually, taken down, caught in the reload though by vods. It's now 5 versus 3 for Project 100, looking poised to take us to overtime, but it just takes one multi-kill to bring it right back. However, that's going to be a lot more difficult as Eternal is taken down. That star player, the man of the moment, is taken off the board. Pizza, though, finds at least a little bit of response. That's Nerd going down and could even get a second here. This vertical angle, no, goes against him. This Caesar goes up to 11. Will, left in the 1 versus 4. We've seen so many 1v4s. This time, well, it's not going to be successful either. There's Caesar another. Fod couldn't quite get there, but over time it is. 12 rounds wasn't enough to separate these teams, Joe.
It was not, and it seemed that Monty was really the thing that almost galvanized that P100 attack. It was the secret ingredient they needed there. It allowed them to be much more proactive, much more fast on that attack. And it's just a shame that they only tried that adaptation so late after falling into the same pitfalls for 5 rounds. Finally, they make that adjustment, and it works, but I kind of feel if they made that adjustment sort of about round 8, round 9, we would have already seen this map won potentially. Cobra doing work that his teammates knew exactly when to go in aggressive around him and when to play passive and let him draw the attention. Really good play as a team from P100 there. We're going to be going down the basement though, and that doesn't really favour the Monty that much. It's very sort of cramped. There's not a lot of open areas that you would need the Monty to sort of just scout out for visuals. So they're opting away from him. They're picking that ace instead. So that could potentially stall the overall pace of this attack. Fod going to be on that thermite, and I'll bet you he's going to immediately impact. He's going to immediately breach open that wall, like every thermite has done in the basement defense this entire match. So it's likely going to be seeing the exact same thing from him, so applying a little bit of pressure close to sight.
Stop it either.
Yeah, and I guess the only other noticeable change here, Konski on that Oryx, bit of a read into that Monty, but not been brought this time.
You know, one of these days in our casts, Joe, we're going to see an Oryx actually like Ramadash and Monty. So I don't think I don't think, because we've seen that like them facing each other quite a lot. I don't think we've ever seen that action actually happening. Again, we're seeing the same sort of thing around Mezzanine. No sort of mirror, they're just relying on that presence to be enough for it. And exactly right, we've seen that breach open up incredibly early, but the rest of the team still trying to deal with this top floor.
Yeah, the only sort of problem I guess I have with Missclick's defense so far, Konski's not having the best game, and he's been put on something that is solely a fragging operator. Before, he at the very least was having impact with his utility, so he can still get impact by getting kills here, but if he gets taken down early, really, you would have rather seen him on those other operators who've been playing, like that Lucy as Nerd actually takes down Yasko.
They're inside.
P100 gets to a very early start as Eternal does stop the problem as they swing. A lot of swings going out, so much chaos, so much scrappiness. How are they in Snowmobile?
Eternal is taken down very low as well. 17 kills, wants to make it 18 on the VOD, but more shots going wide in the swing. Taken down by VOD. This could be the capitulation. Team Missclick possibly falling here. Pizza in a 1 versus 3. VOD gets the diffuser down. At least has some information, but they're watching the hatch. And there's the kill. Caesar drops in. And well, they got to 6-5, but now they're on the other end. Map point, the Project 100 Team Missclick now have to try and find an attack where we've seen, throughout this game, we've seen the defense be so much more in control of things here, Joe.
Yep. Okay, so to be nice, P100 clearly saw an opportunity there. Timeout been taken as well, so they're trying not to fumble at the final hurdle. An opportunity was seen, and they took it. Very good play from P100, noticing that they could get into sight for basically free and get away with a lot of value there. But how does that happen? How P100, when their backs are against the wall, just out-sillied Team Missclick, just dropped down into the basement, directly into sight, just swarmed it. And Missclick had no real response. Eternal was left trying to just look at multiple angles, trying to stop this flood of attackers. Gets one, I think, at least. As there's just kills traded constantly. But eventually, they just can't make up for it. When that so much map control is lost already, in total site control lost, basement can be very hard to retake because of how easy it is to just hold those entrances. So Missclick just don't quite get away with that, despite having a sort of good run-up towards that first overtime round. That's given P100, once again, an opportunity to really find success here. Their first match point, actually, of this map, I believe. So they are finally at that sort of finish line. They just need to get over the final hurdle, as I said. And that can often be so hard for teams as you get to this kind of... You get towards max OT, because just such fine margins can completely take away a map from you. So the pressure's building. P100 just need to not get too overwhelmed by it, as once again, they've picked this site. They're going for a library extension, but no mirror. Mirror is such a powerful operator in these positions. They can really allow you to get away with some free kills, really, and at the very least stall the momentum. As we're seeing a fuse being brought, and the Capital. So Capital immediately, I would imagine, would
They're
be
expecting suicide, right?
To smoke or flame out that either the suicide box or the mezzanine position, and maybe going off the assumption they might have a mirror. The smoke or the flame can be used to dislodge that player. The fuse, though, I'm bewildered. I'm completely lost. There's no real hard walls I can think of. There's no windows. They've just shot open the library windows.
It's the basement, but
I think there's one spot on library where you can bounce a grenade into the corner, but the windows have been shot out, so you can't place a fuse. Maybe Konski just really wanted an AK, but didn't want to play the better operator with the AK. I'm very, very confused though.
I wish I could tell you, to be completely honest, but I have got absolutely no idea. And a fun little fact, you said they outplayed them. Do you remember the last time we used silly in a broadcast?
Was it Missclick?
It was BDS versus Wolves on that Oregon.
Well, that's a compliment for these teams, then.
Yeah, they're playing like BDS and Wolves. Although if you have seen that Oregon, you know that might not actually be too big of a compliment. However, we're getting aside of us. Well, I'm getting distracted. You're absolutely fine, but you know, we're seeing a lot of pressure. We're seeing these flames coming through from Yasko. Well, we're seeing Yasko now dead as Nerd takes the swing, tries to look for more over on that highway window. Pizza is swinging through. That's perfectly played, but at least there's some sort of interaction. Will's downed, but barricaded up is Mudroom. So, well, never mind. They take it straight down. Both of these players are down. Konski, last one alive, as Pizza finds a double, and he's able to get the last as well. Well, how about a round end from Project 100? How about a map end from Project 100? Pizza, that's certainly one way to do it. Project 100, they take map 1, Chalet. Team Missclick's map pick. And now the ball is in Missclick's court for Bank.
The gamble didn't pay off. Missclick chose the statistically worst map, and it looked for a second like they had it in the bag. They had a little bit of a comeback going. P100 just stumbled quite a lot in that mid-match, but it just didn't quite work out in the end. P100, they rose once again after a quick start, a horrible mid-game, and a quite impressive final act there. They take that first map, and so far, a bit of deja vu. They're certainly on course to 2-0. Missclick once again in this best of 3.
And it's even more deja vu because Chalet could have gone either way this time. It was by no means secure for Project 100. I thought they were even going to lose it. However, again, Bank now looks pretty good for them. Obviously, we don't want to say anything. We can still see surprises. Team Missclick can take a lot of positives from that first map, but the pressure's kind of off of Project 100 at this point, at least for map 2. So they might find themselves in a more comfortable spot because they're not really a team that thrives under the pressure. When they have the momentum, when they don't need to really worry about that stuff, that's when they really fly. So looking towards Bank, I want to know 2-0. Are you still on the 2-0 train, or do you think Missclick have a chance here?
Okay, so I was very confident beforehand. I was very confident saying P100 they were going to flatten Missclick. I had my confidence tested, but my faith has been restored. So 2-0. I think P100, they're now thoroughly sort of warmed up. They're ready. They had a very strong defensive half, and I think Bank, if you're very proactive on your defense, you're very active as a defender, you can find a lot of value because it's such a big map if you can make it so much more difficult for the attack to do things. So I think that P100 are going to take this 2-0 still. I think, although it was a rocky map 1, I think map 2 is going to be a lot more sort of decisive. I think P100 are going to come out on top.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Don't go anywhere. We've got a very quick break, about 5 minutes. When we come back, we'll be seeing Bank on our screens. Don't go anywhere. Well, map 1 certainly was something, that's for sure. I'm still Pastor, still joined by Poobel. Chalet, 8-6 to Project 100. 3 rounds in a row at the end. Team Missclick's map pick. That's about a summary of the previous map. Very scrappy.
Yes.
Very chaotic. Looking towards Bank. We said before the break, we think Project 100 will take this. We think it'll be slightly smoother sailing for them. Do we still think there'll be the same level of chaos, the same sort of scrappiness between these two teams?
Well, I think because both teams have now played a map, I think at least with sort of, I guess, as we say scrappiness, it's a really polite way of saying they miss a bunch of their shots. And I think now that they've got a map under their belts, they've got an overtime map under their belts, they should have really sort of fixed their aim up by now. So I think that element of scrappiness is probably not going to be here. I think with the unusual operator picks and some of the questionable site choices may still make a return. We could maybe see a team defending like Archives or Open when they have one of those other sites open just to try and maybe catch the opponent off guard. But I think I'm still confident in P100's defenses. I think P100 were much more sort of proactive on their defense. They were a lot more just better at sort of getting out there. And that is something that's going to help on Bank. Bank's got a huge floor plan. There's so many areas to hide to sort of catch attackers off guard. So many different avenues for the defense to escape as well. So I think if they can keep that sort of factor into this map, P100 are going to thrive on Bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention as well, we saw some maybe not questionable decisions, but unusual decisions from these teams. You know, quick entries, quick openings of walls. And I think especially looking at the top floor, looking at the basement, that could also be replicated here on Bank.
Yeah, I guess as we're getting this ban phase, Nook, the one time I don't predict her, she always gets banned. So Nook taken off the board immediately. That's one set of nades gone for the attack. It also is going to slightly reduce their ability to just sort of sneak around the map, get up those staircases. But I think a big thing for P100 here is they are a self-professed momentum-based team. They always claim that they have the momentum behind them. They have the wind in their sails. They are very good. If not, they can really struggle. And they've just won a map. So they certainly should have the momentum in their corner. Now, the momentum didn't help them that much sort of mid-game in Chalet. They were struggling a little bit despite having a good start, but they've still got that one map win under their belt. So they really... I'm going to expect them to be flying sort of immediately off the start line here as we see these remaining bans coming in. Ying, not too surprising. It's going to be mainly aimed at sort of that basement defense, going to make it a little bit harder for the attack to actually get in. And that sort of quartet of powerful defenders, 2 of them being banned are Fenrir and Solace. So the Azami is actually available here, as is the Valk.
Yeah. Very interesting, and we're seeing the Valkyrie straight away from FOD. Obviously, that could still change, but again, bringing back on the momentum. I said, Chalet, this is talking about the RSX game and coming into this game. I'm going to directly quote FOD here. Chalet could have gone either way, and this time Chalet is first, meaning we don't have the advantage of being 1 map up going in. If they take Chalet, pressure piles on us to take our map pick. Obviously, that didn't happen. It was certainly very close, and here's another quote. When we don't start quick, it can definitely take a toll on us. It wasn't necessarily a quick start, but it was a map. So, well, it might not be, that full momentum that they want, that they need.
10 seconds remaining.
It's still something for that call.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I do just think that Chalet win is going to do wonders for P100 coming in here. As we're seeing this basement being defended first. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. The Jackal, maybe I'd say, potentially the most pressing thing. Still got those smoke grenades, so very useful for the execute. Also good for just locating these roamers around such a big map. Caesar on that Oryx as well, likely just aimed at the mobility. It means he can just get up those hatches instead of having to locate one of those staircases. All just based around this map being so big, both the attack and the defense, as we see Eternal, who was an absolute star in that first map.
Yeah,
not even on this top square.
Not even on that Team Missclick roster technically anymore. Filling back in for ESA, that's a thing I'm going to be bringing up because of personal issues with other players causing some people to drop out. And yeah, have to come back into the team after leaving. So maybe there's some tensions there. It seems like they're at least getting on, because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to take it to those 6 rounds. We saw a lot of cohesion from this Team Missclick team in that previous map. And he's on the hunt. He's found at least some trail. However, look at this Valcam from FOD. See, this is great. I haven't seen a bank in quite a while, so now I have new strats for ranked.
Oh yeah, true. Valkyrie cams, although I think I will probably just find myself throwing them in corners most of the time. Yeah. Eternal though, he knows he's close to someone. He knows that there's a lot of security sunk here. They've got eyes on him finally. The breach goes away and he just drops back down into the site. No real biggie for him as he can just make his way back down there. Cobra though does use 2 of his smoke grenades here, certainly keeping something at bay, but quite early in this round.
Yeah, doesn't seem like there's too much going on towards that side of things as this mid-floor starts to come under the control of Team Missclick more and more. Peter forced back because of those hatches as well. Still inside of red, still watching the drop in towards the site, and Volkonski gets taken down. That's actually on that mid-floor. Maybe the reverse angle through the hatch. More nades coming through towards that back server position. Nerd forced away, not cooked enough. He's going to be able to get out of there. The MP is going to make it more difficult for him. Will proned in tunnel as well. Certainly not making life easy, as we are going to see this 4 versus 5 continuing. Nerd very low. However, again, the timer continuing to tick down. Defense obviously is going to be more favored when that happens. Project 100 in a 4 versus 4 now with 25 seconds left, and there's one back from Cobra. The shotgun on those stairs is certainly very strong. And there's Nerd as well, finally taken down. Will Pizza finds the swing, able to just take away from that player. But with 8 seconds left, Nerd dipping away just in time. Pizza can't find anything with a pistol. And there's Nerd. Low HP, still finds a triple.
Yeah, I think that duo of Nerd and Cobra went above and beyond in that round. They stalled so much time. And I was just thinking to myself, Nerd, just hide behind that serve rack. That's all you need to do. Less than a minute on the clock, stay alive. And he somehow manages to get those picks on such low health. Cobra
I don't get it.
Holding down those stairs. Incredible job from both of them. Just starving the attack of time and bodies as well. Very good job from them. And it was all sort of down
Attackers need to
to
locate
just
and defuse
staying
bombs.
alive. It's the biggest tool you have as a defender, particularly offside.
Yeah.
Just stay alive, hold your position, force as much utility out as possible, and it worked wonders for them. Now, well, they get to defend this top floor site. We're seeing that his army being brought. Valkyrie again as well, so intel is going to be good. Cobra onto this Wamai as well, so it's going to be difficult to really do much, I would say. You've got this duo of the Wamai and the Azami continually keeping areas locked down. Particularly going to be a lot of new line of sights being made and not a lot of opportunities to nade them. Vertical nades, though, are going to be key. You can't zap a nade if it's below a floor, so I would like to see a rover from P100, maybe just on that ground floor, keeping Missclick in check, because they're only bringing one set of nades, quite surprisingly, opting for that IQ is to directly counter Caesar's Valkyrie cameras. But I can't help but think that maybe 3 sets of Claymores is a bit excessive when you still have the ability to bring those frag grenades.
I don't know, maybe it's just the people they wanted to bring kind of facilitate Claymores. Is there much else? I mean, soft breaches,
it's likely going to be breaching charges or Claymores, and Claymores, I would agree, are more useful than breaching charges. But still bring a sledge in, like, get those nades.
Yeah. I suppose, you know, if they want an OSA, they want an IQ for the execute. You need at least some sort of hard breach. Maybe you want an Ash and a Yana as well, like... You know, maybe Eternal could switch over onto Sledge, or maybe even not if he wants to still be more primarily focused.
Cameron, Nook's done!
Oh yeah, well there you go.
That's why you're play-by-play!
Well, there you go, that's maybe why they didn't do it then. Eternal finds the first kill of the game for him at least, but still one going the other way into a 4 versus 4. So again, we're seeing this equal man count. We're seeing these very even situations, and well, look at this positioning from the Valkyrie cam. It's spotted out, but still a lot of information gained.
Yeah, Konski finding a lot of value from this position, putting a lot of pressure down. The only problem is Caesar very close and not spotted. Fod takes on Eternal as well, and Konski could very soon be in frame of her defenders from all angles, just creeping around him. Will not quick enough on that cover, all in the sky, and he dies! He gets taken down by Pizza there! Pizza all alone in the 1 versus 4 on a completely separate building. A minute left.
Well, that happened. What a shot from Pizza. He does find his toes being nipped at by this IQ of Pizza. He at least is aware that there is some form of run out, or at least the barricade being broken over towards electrical, trying to find an angle, but I mean Project 100 are playing this very well reserved. Their discipline in this situation is impressive. I know certain ranked teammates of ours that I'm not going to reveal the names of, that would definitely be swinging things in places like that. I mean, to be fair, I probably would as well, but just for a peek. And this should be at least a position now known. Perhaps diffuser, but there's only 20 seconds here, Joe. This is gonna be a ramp for Project 100.
Yeah, and now the defenders, there's such little time. They can afford to get a bit aggressive, pad their stats. Eventually, Caesar puts Pizza out of this misery there, and it looked like it was starting to be a bit of a solid attack from Missclick there, but once those P100 defenders strike, my god, they strike. They all come together as this cohesive unit.
Onto Konski.
It was just a horrifying situation for Konski there. Hints from the stairs, from the actual floor, from the corridor, and I think maybe
the breach as well,
peeking through the breach. It was just 3 different defenders all peeking that one attacker, and it's because Konski was in such a valuable position. The shield being there and the way it counters that line of sight that a lot of teams place there. It provides such value for the attack.
I think Fod actually got a kill beforehand, possibly on some sort of cover on that position, because as soon as Fod got that kill, you saw him aggress. You saw all of the players then start to push.
It's just brilliant teamwork.
Brilliant teamwork from Project 100, and also, you know, you've got to be able to get those kills. Fod did, and it really opened up that round. And I just want to talk about that kill from Peter again, because
10 seconds remaining.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
Onto this round though, a bit of a new strange thing here. The observation blocker being brought by Cobra on that Maestro. So for going the impact nades, you don't really need them. You've got two operators with shotguns and you can just send Fod to run at a wall if need be. But we don't really see much of this gadget being brought. It certainly has its place. It forces the attack to be a lot more almost aggressive with their drone work. They can't just hold these long angles with their drones.
yeah.
A lot of the time, people just rather have the utility that something like barbed wire or impacts bring, so they don't tend to use it too much. Cobra, though, on the Maestro, going to be likely using it to protect his cameras. I'm not sure how the interaction works with the Brava. I don't know if you can hack through the observation blocker screen. If you can't, that might be an accidental brilliant play from Cobra there, as Will is likely going to want to hack these cameras. So I'm intrigued to see how that sort of interaction works, because I genuinely don't know how observation blockers deal with things like Brava hacks.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you're a player
Eternal
because
can just wander up to the door
they can see right through them.
completely kill Cobra there and get full side control.
Yep, and there's another kill. Fod finds one back. And did he actually deal with the Maestro cam? Doesn't matter, because Konski's just completely shagging him on the top floor. This is ridiculous. Because Fod's now the only player left alive, only player with a kill as well for his team. It has to be an ace, has to be a 1v4. Well, that's made incredibly difficult now that the fuse is down. The angle from the stairs doesn't quite land. Finds the follow-up kill onto Yasko. There's another as well from Fod. Somehow, this starts to look possible. However, time continuing to tick and, well, not much HP left anymore. This crossfire from Eternal and Will should be unbreakable, especially with the amount of health that Fod has on him. Instead, rotating round to a different angle, the beepers will give away this position. Eternal will be in prime position. Only 7 seconds it takes to defuse, and it was getting pretty close, and Eternal shuts it down. Team Missclick, that was very successful. Fod kept it close, but Project 100 just wasn't there. But again, tertiary.
Once again, I'm going to start by complimenting the attack. I'm going to say Eternal, fantastic job seeing that glaringly obvious weakness in the defense and just wandering up to that door and killing the Maestro. Play the highest value pick you can get on the site itself. And then I'm going to say, BO100, what are you doing? You've had such a fantastic start. We were just praising you for your teamwork, and you leave a glaringly obvious hole in your defense. There wasn't even a barricade on that doorway. I'm not sure if there was a player who just simply didn't do their job there and put it down. It was just lost in all of the communication throughout that setup phase. But you need something there. Usually you see teams put either a castle barricade there or just a regular barricade there just to stop exactly that. And Eternal sees the opportunity. He sees, oh, this door is just completely open aside from a gate that does 20 damage. I can just go in and kill everyone. And that's exactly what he does there. He takes down Cobra, completely disrupts the whole sort of flow of the defense, forces people to come running back, and in that chaos, the rest of his teammates thrive. They get more and more picks. So, going back to this basement, we're likely not going to see a similar thing there, unless maybe they just rush through the garage. So, we're hopefully going to see much more of a sort of slow, tactical side of Siege, and that is shown by the sort of operator usage. We're seeing that Lion, we're seeing the Valk, we're seeing the Maestro again, we're seeing the Jaeger, who's likely to be holding the same position. The only problem I have with this, where's the smoke? Who's going to hold those blue stairs, which was so pivotal in your last defense? Who's going to do that? And I'm genuinely stumped as to who you put on that position.
Maestro? Oh, no one. Literally nobody. That's great. Do they at least have... I appreciate Max, our observer, trying to at least get a look into the top of those stairs. Surely they've got, like, an ADS or something, right? Just to at least feign some sort of pressure? I mean, you'd like to hope so, but... Well, Eternal's dead. So, that helps, I guess. Caesar's actually up here in Archive, so instead holding that position from a slightly different angle. Makes sense, you've got two players in server as well, so... yeah, it still enables that to happen, but you have maybe a little bit more maneuverability. It does kind of just detract from the stability of the position, but... Caesar should be a dead man.
Yeah, really.
Oh my word. And Skonski's just walked into the sightline. There's the collection. Caesar pinched from both sides though. There's a kill from Pizza. Finally taken down, but I mean, Konski should not be dead right now. There should have been the collection the first time around.
And I'm
And the
now
second
left
time
asking,
around.
yeah, why is Cobra playing aggressive on the blue stairs?
Oh my
He is
days.
probably one of the most pivotal points in his defense.
He's still got an observation blocker in his pocket.
Only he can use those cameras. Other people can look around, but only he can zap. And we've seen.
Oh no!
Post-
No! What? How did he get the kill?
Yasko.
Yasko with a panic drone hops on the cameras and what? Can't like collect on it at all.
What?
Peter's at least found one wall bang. There we go. Well, there's Yasko, who should have been dead the first time around. Again, so we've seen kills that shouldn't happen for both sides. Maybe we've reached equilibrium. Nerd takes a swing off of the ADS up perfect. Can't find the dropped player. Will takes him down. 1v3 made 1 versus 2. 25 seconds left. It's still possible, but there we go. This is why Nerd needed to stay alive, and you've got the Warden as well. Those smoke grenades causing absolutely no bother to this defense. Project 100, they're back in their winning ways, Joe. But I mean, what that round? What on earth went on?
It looked like it would be a very sort of grim round for P100 there, as it kind of started to unfold at the end. But then just chaos ensues. We see that random wallbang. We saw players going on cams and not dying, and then dying, and then killing other people. I'm very confused. The silliness clearly hasn't stopped here, so we've just been brought to a brief pause to get ham cams in check, valuing competitive integrity here, as we are now in the finals, so we can't let anything go awry, I guess. So just shouldn't be paused for long, as I think a player just accidentally disconnected, getting them back in, getting them all in position. As yep, we resume that timer. P100 though, a very strange round there, but once again they thrive in that chaos, I guess, and they've still got a very quick start in this map. I would say they lost that one tertiary round due to just an abysmally bad setup, I've got to say. They're going back to this top floor though, and they were so good as a team here. I really want to see them continuing like that, as they've brought, I believe, the exact same operators.
Wasn't Foz on? No.
I think they might be on different ones, but it's the same lineup. Maybe the Frost wasn't there. I remember.
Yeah, for a second I thought Fod was on Oryx, but that was actually the round after. Yeah. Well, either way, it's definitely very similar. You know, sticking with what works, at least.
Konski back on the Dosa, so he's definitely going to want to stay alive and just keep applying pressure. Hopefully, if you're a Team Missclick fan, he doesn't get 3 versus 1.
I think Peter was on the Frost last time as well, because it was the shot up through the skylight with the C1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So identical lineups coming out here, as it did look like a promising round for Missclick, but then they got torn apart really in that mid round.
Yeah. It's yeah, hoping for a different turnout this time around. As well, that's a very bad start. Ford finds a jump out. They even placed claymores down, but it wasn't quite enough, and he's been able to escape that pressure from the roof as well. And this time, Konski can't find anything on this bottom floor. That's Peter taking him down. Those Talon 8 shields from the OSUP not even going to be of any impact whatsoever this time, apart from being in the dead player's pocket. So
you can excuse the death from Will, I suppose. It's a jump out. It's a risky move from the defense. You don't often sort of bet on it.
Yeah.
It can be quite difficult getting those repelled shots. But what on earth is Konski doing anywhere other than top square? You have such a powerful position to hold. You can hold directly into the site. He did it last round. He caused so much grief for the defense as Eternal is trying to pick up the pieces here. There's actually another one there. Yasko gets Fod. 3 versus 3 Caesar, mate. You might not want to be on those cameras. He's right next to you, pal. Gets some shots go off into Eternal. Actually takes him down as well. Still holding this hatch. These P100 defenders just can't be dislodged.
Yeah, Yasko now stepping up to the plate as Caesar's actually rotating upstairs. I think this rotation has been heard by Pizza, but there's another player here on the top floor as well. Yeah, okay. Trying to retreat back to site, but yeah, Yasko's caught him out. It's a 2 versus 2. 50 seconds left on the clock, but it's an aggressive swing by Cobra, and it's not punished by Yasko, who instead gets taken down. 2 versus 1 then. And, well, what do we reckon happens here? Because I don't think Pizza has this one. Obviously, we've seen 1v2s before. We saw it from VOD in the previous map, even technically a 1 versus 3 if you really want to talk about it. But, you know, he got 2 kills in the end. It was a posthumous death. Posthumous nade kill even, that time around, to make it a 1 versus 2. Pizza's pushing up, but yeah, they have a crossfire. That's easy as you like.
Yeah, I guess for Pizza there was no way he himself could win that. He would have to hope that P100 made a mistake. There is nothing more he could do. He would have to hope that P100 were a bit slow on their response, didn't set up a proper crossfire. As we're paused again, I think another hand cam issue might have just cropped up here. But P100, they've got a comfortable lead. 4-1 here. Very, very good. 3 rounds in their favor for all of you mathematicians out there. So, very good job from them. They are continuing this fast start as they're back down in open area, and I hope they're going to put a barricade in that double door this time, or put something there to watch it, and I hope Cobra won't get taken down within a matter of a minute, because that was really the thing that just crippled their entire defense last time, that glaringly obvious hole in their defense that they just simply need to patch up. If they patch that up, we might actually get to see their defensive setup do something. On the side of the attack, we aren't seeing that Brava as of yet, as they scope out the fact that P100 are bringing a Maestro. We may see that, and I'm still eagerly awaiting to see how the overall sort of interaction works with observation blockers and cameras and Brava drones, because I don't know. And last time it was cut incredibly short by Eternal just wandering into the site.
Yeah. We're seeing, similar stuff, but hopefully it's not a similar result if you're a Project 100 fan. If you want to see Project 100 succeed here. But yeah, there was a glaringly obvious issue. This time actually they switched away from the Maestro, so maybe even using this slight pause of hand cams to just have a little conversation amongst themselves as to what would be best inside of this round. Again, it's a tertiary. You give Team Missclick more favor like we did, like you would have done the last time around, but it's still a very strong defensive site. And being 5-1, I think, is a nail in the coffin. Yeah.
I think, despite the fact that P100 didn't exactly have the best attacks last map, it was 2-4-2 halves. I think, well, obviously, if they just do another 4-2 half here, and it's a 5-1 half to begin with, 5 + 2, 7, they will win this map. But even then, I think coming off the momentum of a 5-1 half, we might end up seeing this go 7-1. They could genuinely go flawless on their attacks. They've looked very good. They've looked very cohesive as a unit, which is something that is nice for your defense, but it's really sort of critical for your attack. And if they're showing those qualities, they have they're likely going to be very good on their bank attacks here. As we just get back to our faces here, as we've got a bit of an extended pause. Hello. We're just waiting on some things. I think it's hand cam related.
You know,
I'd imagine it's hand cam related. But I guess P100 just need to make sure that this doesn't squander their momentum. Yes, it's a pause. Yes, they say they're a momentum-based team. They just need to not get too almost, I guess, worked up about this pause. Just keep the happy vibes flowing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Actually, I have a question. Did we see the dock the first time around, Joe? Was that a thing that happened?
We had an Oryx first time around, I believe.
Yeah.
We had an Oryx, which we have now. We had the Maestro, which we don't have anymore. We've gone on to an Azami from Cobra, so that's different. The dock, I don't know. It might be a bit of payback for what happened to them in that previous map. We saw Missclick bringing some increasingly sillier operators like the Doc, like the Ella shotgun, just to try and maybe get in the heads of P100. Ultimately, that didn't really work, as we're just seeing some more discussions. We should be getting the match very soon, I hope. I mean, we're compared integrity, all that. We apologize. We have a little bit of pause there. But either way, P100, they should be pretty happy with themselves right now. They are definitely definitively in the lead.
I would say so. I think I think this should be a win for Project 100 quite comfortably. Which we said before the game. To be fair, we did say that this would probably be going better for them. If it's a 4-2, maybe there's a chance for Missclick to fight back in this one. But I mean, it's going to be tough. Last time Missclick got 3 attacking rounds, and then it finished 7-3 for Project 100.
Oh, that's
so Project 100 heading onto their attack. Looks very strong. Obviously, we saw the sides be completely different from that previous series that these teams played on Chalet. It could yet be different again. However,
defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
again,
attackers.
looking at previous results, because it did kind of follow the same theme. It was a close Chalet. Rank is looking considerably less so. I'm worried.
Yeah, and it was also, as I believe it was Ford that said that it was really down to that first sort of map being under their belt, just having that sort of playtime that allowed them to sort of make up the mileage, get that comeback on Chalet. So now they've already got that, they're already warmed up, they've already got that first map completed, and they're going to be going into this second half with the advantage no matter what in terms of rounds. They've at the very least won this half now, 4-2 at the very least, potentially 5-1 here. Depends on how this fight goes. So with that, added to the fact that they've already sort of got the ball rolling, if they are looking to be potentially really menacing on their attackers Missclick, they are immediately just sending these drones in. Will on this Bravo once again. Not going to find much aside from maybe a bulletproof camera from that dock. No Maestro this time, obviously. Can't do squat about these as army gates at all. It just gets shot down at the end of the day. So no real value found from the Bravo there at all in this first match.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't actually see the hack come through onto that bulletproof camera, and well, it's certainly going to get worse for them. Caesar's at least taking a bit of damage, but Plain Doc heals himself back up, and Yasko was the first to fall. Again, the cycle of misery continuing for Team Missclick is, well, it just can't really get worse than that. You know, if it was a flawless round, it would kind of sum up how this half has felt. It's felt almost insurmountable. There was one mistake that Eternal was able to exploit, and apart from that, Project 100 have looked so strong. And this time around, it doesn't look like they're making that same mistake. Although Caesar has been taken out on the top floor, that should be now this upstairs control for Team Missclick.
Yeah, just so many drones on Caesar's position, and it's quite unwisely he opts to go for the drones and hold his angles, and Peter gets taken down, getting a little bit aggressive. I thought initially that was Ford, because Ford got like a run-out kill there, but Peter was manning the helm there instead, gets taken down thanks to that usage of the line gadget. So nice utility usage from Missclick, as they've now got the Bravo buzzing in, attempting to hack that default camera. Should be a success, yeah. So a bit of more flank watch available for the attack here as they get more confirmation on the other defenders. This Missclick side has really sort of sprung to life in this 6th round. They're just being much better with that utility. They're playing a lot more cohesively. As Konski has said, that might just drop down the hatch on his own. Yes, he does. Very risky situation from here, because he might just get killed without a trade.
Yeah, however, I don't think they know of his position inside a printer. Although the prone is actually going to give him away. This plant started to go down, but now they don't feel as secure. Pizza's on such low HP. Some wallbangs coming through, and Cobra is still in such a good position here, playing around these Kiba barriers that the Azami provides, and Vertical is no longer under the control either. Pizza cannot get this plant down. Will does find a kill, but Pizza's now just rotating out of the site again. Fod is getting closed down on, though, from this other side. Pizza rotating up above, but there's only 15 seconds. They need to find kills, and they need to find them now. And Pizza 100 are the ones getting them. And he's just now completely let Nerd slip the net. There's now no time to get this plant secured. They're just holding in this corner, hoping that Eternal is able to cut off Nerd. And he doesn't actually land the shot. Nerd's still able to find something here. And there's the kill. Can he get the kill? One secured. Oh, what a fight! What a kill from Nerd. The cut comes through. It's a 5-1 half. Project 100. This game now firmly out of reach for Team Missclick. This should
Defenders
be done and
disabled.
dusted. It should be
Defender
all
mission
over.
successful.
This second half is going to be so difficult for this defending now side of Team Missclick as the side swap comes through. So what have I just witnessed?
It was just indecision, I think, that really caught them off guard there. Just take out any real player from that situation,
Yeah.
just see what they did. You see Peter initially stick the plant, gets spooked away, he's on low health, okay, that's fine. Then he goes to rotate because he's heard that vertical is no longer placed here, the footsteps above. At the very least, you've then got to commit to that. If you aren't going to commit to planting and you're going to make the effort to rotate up, at the very least, you have to commit to dealing with that player on that vertical, get that kill. Because if you got that kill, they would have won it off of kills. They wouldn't have won it off of the time, off of the objective. They would have won it off of kills there.
Yeah.
And he gets cold feet at the last moment. I thought for sure Nerd was dead. He was looking down the vertical holes. He seemingly had no idea the player was up there. And yet Pizza just dropped down.
10 seconds left
I
before
don't
insertion.
understand. I truly don't understand why
5
you would not
seconds
at
to
least
go.
commit to that clear. I guess it's unlucky. I guess it's a mixture of all this
Yeah.
siege timing. I guess it was also just a good sort of an overall good defense that has starved them of that time. You don't just get down to 10 seconds off of your own sort of mistake. You have to give sort of compliments to the defense for making it so difficult to formulate an attack there. But still, there was just a lot of poor decision-making from that side of Missclick on their final attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to point out as well is, you know, it could even just be a team, like team communications. You know, you
Dropping mags.
try to catch off the rotation, and then your players go, there's no time, come and plant. But, I mean, there's definitely time in this round, because already first, like 40 seconds, 2 kills have already gone the way of Project 100. We spoke about their momentum. They are sailing off of that clutch.
Will does get one, and I think there should have been a trade coming out there, but they're a little bit late.
no.
There we go. 2 versus 4 now. As Missclick are just falling apart at the seams here. P100, they're really just running away with that. Gemini replicator shot. Just the 2 SAS operators with those powerful shotguns remaining. It's still doable as Yasko gets 1, so Konski only needs to find one other pick to even things out. Shot comes out, gets the down, beautiful play for
Shotgun's
him.
insane.
And now we're all even.
He's just pushing down. Honestly, dips away a little bit, but you've got 2 of these shotguns to try and fight up against. It's not an easy task. Damage, though, being dealt is actually going to take Konski down to a very low amount of HP. Has to now hide inside of the garage. Drop comes through. There's a lovely kill from Nerd. And the positioning from Yasko not quite good enough. The 180 onto that smoke is, well, it's a pretty good shot. And Project 100 again, failing.
It really looked like the clutch was doable. You're in that basement site, it's all so confined. You have that amazing SAS shotgun. You get those 2 picks, even out, brilliant, perfect start to a clutch. And then Nerd just slips on by, gets those 2 picks, beautiful play from the line, a bit of poor coordination from the 2 defenders, not holding any kind of cross on that hatch drop. But well, you've got so many other things to worry about, it just happens in that situation. But Missclick, really in a grim spot here. 6-1 down, P100 about to finish it out. They're on the very edge, attacking this basement once again. It's like they already just completely dismantled, albeit partly due to them just responding to that aggression from Missclick. If Missclick play a lot more sort of disciplined here, not going for those spawn peaks, you could maybe see the round playing out totally different. Just play to your strategy. Don't really get too aggressive here, because they're really not in a position where they can afford to get aggressive. No more mistakes there. 6-1 down. You have to play basically perfect siege. And that can be really, really difficult and be a very big sort of pressure on you. So, Missclick, please don't go for any more spawn peaks. Just play your strategy, play your site how you want to hold it. Don't give away picks early on, because when P100 get that opportunity, they will run with it.
Yeah, they are definitely... They're definitely going to capitalize on any mistakes that Team Missclick make. I would be surprised if they don't, considering how we've seen this series go. However, it might be Eternal that finds aggression here, swinging up to this wall, but dips away as the shots come through. Peter down and across map. Eternal.
Ooh.
Oh, the C4's perfect as well. Much better round from Team Missclick, at least for now. It's essentially a 3 versus 5 already. Project 100 looking worse for wear.
Really
Oh,
nice
wow.
nitro cell there, and Peter
Yeah.
does eventually get taken down there. Eternal technically finds 1, but gets the credit for 2. Really good play from him. He's now got Nerd though, another attacker just putting a load of pressure here. They really want to deal with this top floor roam as there's still quite a lot of support here. You've seen these defenders close to the stairs. It is still just Eternal up here at the moment, I believe, as the line scan is really going to stop him getting any support.
Oh.
Shots ring out, doesn't quite finish him. Nerd, you've got to get this kill, man. You've got to. It has to be done.
He's
You've done
looking
so
away.
much damage.
Look away!
Don't look away! And Nerd
Ford finds
gets
one, but
taken
he's not
down
looking the
by-
right direction!
Oh,
Where? Where is the communication in this team? They aren't speaking to each other, I'm
no! It was
convinced!
so good 2 rounds ago. As Caesar's taken sight somehow.
What is happening?
Caesar gets 2. Caesar's undoable, but the diffuser somewhere on the top floor, I'd imagine, is it's just been an absolute massacre up there.
What is going
He has
on?
to take this
Okay.
fight. If he won that,
Okay.
I would have screamed, but Team Missclick, they get their second on the board. Still 4 remaining to bring it to OT. 1 left for P100 to win this entire series. 2-0 in very similar fashion to their first meeting in RSX at the start of this month.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay after that. What on
It
earth
was,
was that
interesting.
round?
An interesting round, that's what we say. We be polite. We just call everything that was really bad interesting. That's
I'm that's peculiar. I'm going to
Peculiar,
step further. That
intriguing.
And defuse
that was-
bombs.
perhaps
Now-
a touch whimsical as well.
And what is this defensive composition? We've got a Thorn?
Thorn, 1.5 on that
1.5,
Uzi. A lot
true.
of players are
Yeah,
liking
yeah.
that as like a gunning op. If you don't have warden
M870,
privileges in your team,
M870.
if you don't have warden privileges in your team, you just pick Thorn. As Konski,
Yeah.
you'll find a bit of value from that gadget, I guess. I mean, it's a proximity alarm that can do damage if you're a moron. So maybe
Yeah.
he finds a
Or
bit of impact with
You
that.
can combine it with, like, I don't know,
10 seconds to go.
Malusi or something. But there's no Malusi. You can combine it with barbed wire, I guess?
You could play a good operator instead.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Attackers are
Konski's
moving out
just been
to
running
locate a
around
bomb
with a
and
CZ as
defuse
well, so I'm kind of hoping that he's just got the M870, just because it would be hilarious.
I could see it if they were defending basement. You hold that blue and it's got the
Yeah,
Uzi,
okay,
so-
thank God.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, you've still ultimately you've got that Azami, you've got the Warden, you've got the Valk. That's all you need to win a defensive round, realistically. So let Konski have his fun. He maybe 6-2 down, but he gets to play Thorn.
Yay!
Yay, indeed.
I'm just wondering what tomfoolery is going to happen now, because this game has been nothing but tomfoolery. Peter finds one, Konski another off of this.
Attackers have located
I
a
forgot
bomb.
the razor shell. There we go. It's been so long since I've even seen this gadget played, and Fod's gone down as well. So 5 versus 2, and Nerd's not quick enough on that
Ooh.
cross. Caesar's still inside of ATM, so only a minute's gone by. Over half of this Project 100 team is out of the round.
And I don't really see
What?
a way they can win this. There's a lot of jumping and running happens there. Peter eventually taken down posthumously by Nerd as Eternal, takes down Caesar. And that is another round I think we'll call interesting. This was specifically because those compositions, the 0 being brought with no real impact. No Osa, again, a glaringly incredibly strong operator on that site because you can just look into the site directly behind a shield. There is like no reason not to bring an Osa there instead. They opt away from it, they choose to bring that 0 instead, not finding much value. And Cobra, he's actually sticking on the 0 for this next round, attacking even onto that tertiary site. Jackal being brought as well, just for that roam clear, really.
Attackers need to locate
Missclick
and
on this
defuse
defense,
bombs.
bringing Malusi, bringing Thorn. They may have been listening in, doing that combo you were just talking about, but
Attackers have
they've
located
got
a
no
bomb.
Azami. They've got a Cap Can instead. They've got a Cap Can instead, but nothing defensive really. No Azami, no Maestro. Sure, you've got cameras on the Valk, but at least we'll pick up some of that slack when it comes to the intel, but still.
Yeah, but that's more of an aggressive camera than the Maestro, if that
Yeah,
makes
but-
sense. This
yeah,
is a
this
very,
is-
like...
It's a
this
site
is almost
where you need
an
to defend.
attacking. It's an attacking defensive composition, right?
Yeah,
You have a
it's
Capcan,
very
you
aggro.
have a Thorn, you've got a Warden
seconds remaining.
who, yeah, sure, if they put smokes on site, I guess, but you're
Keep an eye on
mainly going to be
5
using that to
seconds to go.
swing into angles where there's a smoke grenade, right?
Yeah.
Valkyrie
Attackers are
has
heading out.
more options off the site, whereas Maestro would normally be played on site. Again, it's a lot of aggressive, offensive defending. I guess
No
it worked
shotguns.
last time around.
No shotguns
Yeah.
either, I believe. So
Or
they're,
impact.
you're having to use deagles to open up these floor holes, which is going to waste a bit of time, waste a bit of ammo.
Yeah.
Specifically, you've only got, well, now one nitro cell as Yasko takes down one of the attackers. That's Caesar gone, so one of the vertical players taken away. Nice start for Missclick, but Nerd is still on the board.
Yeah. Konski isn't though. There's Peter takes him down, up through the basement. Quick aggression, Yasko. We did see just maybe lagged out a little bit there, but action's already happened in this round, so no chance of a redo. This is possibly what Project 100 could be looking for. They need to capitalize off of this. Obviously, it doesn't feel as rewarding when, you know, you might feel like, oh, we didn't win that round, you know, fairly. Maybe we didn't show off everything that we're capable of, but a good team will be able to capitalize off of those unfortunate happenings. And, well, that is unfortunate because Will's taken down Nerd, who was just caught looking the wrong way. Fod is on the site
Fod's
and
in sight.
is planting. There's no
There's
one
no
else here.
defender.
There's no defender. Eternal is gonna swing up and actually finds a kill. Hello. Cobra gets one, but there's a steep pull up. It's 2 versus 1. He
Oh, what?
takes a drop and hip fires. Questionable decision, but I mean, Missclick shouldn't have won this round. They had a player disconnect. And I'm assuming we'll see a pause just to try and get them in.
I understand why Fod did what he did. You see the side open, you gotta make the play to make the defuse. He then noticed he was not safe at all. There was a glaringly large hole directly above him, so he moves to another position. But the key problem with what Fod did there is that he held the beepers angle far too aggressively. The Warden didn't even need to pass through the beepers, and those beepers are an incredible tool for whoever is in the sort of defensive position that time, because it's free intel. There's nothing that player can do. So he could have just waited for that call on the beepers, which would then at least signify that Eternal was there. Instead, he takes the aggressive gunfight, and Eternal catches him completely off guard, eviscerates him, wipes him off the server, and with that, Team Missclick managed to hang on there. So just small little issues by P100 that have cost them there.
So
and now
easy to pre-fire. It's a very common angle. You know, they'll be expecting if there's someone there, that's where they'll be.
The big thing here, though, only 2 rounds separate these teams from what was once a 6-1 advantage. So Missclick, they're getting close, and P100, you might want to use your timeout now. Just stop this momentum being built by Missclick. Stop it before it gets to OT, because you survived OT once. This time, though, you're on kind of the opposite end here, and it's not going to be great.
Yeah, thankfully this pause as well has given them time to talk things through. Yasko now back in the game, which is good. We like that. And, well, I noticed a trend. So, in the previous series that we've been mentioning, obviously it wasn't ESA, it was RSX. In that series, on Chalet, Team Missclick won 5 rounds. This time they won 6. Last time they won 3 rounds. This time they're currently on 4. So if it ends 7-4, then that trend continues, and I think it would be a really pretty pattern to see play out. So, you know.
I don't think P100 won that, though. I think they won this one and done now, this last round. They've had that little bit of time to think over it. They're attacking once again. Bringing the 0, though, is questionable. Like, I guess it has its value. You have the hard breach charges to deal with the hatches, but you've also got the Hibana, so that may not be as big a selling point. The cameras can be good for watching the multitude of staircases, but aside from that, maybe you just want to pick a better operator, like
even Thermite or Ace have hard breach, and you have a Hibana, so hard breach charges kind of fill that same role, but
or just a Thatcher. Just a Thatcher.
Or just a
There's
Thatcher.
nothing to stop this Kaya. Pizza is going to have a freebie here. His Eternal is just swinging out the door here.
And he's whiffed, but
Drop the bomb
what?
diffuser.
Where is Yasko come from? Will as well taken out Nerds on such low HP. Finally, that swing comes through, and the Jackal. Oh dear, you know the window's open. Where do you think he's gonna swing you from, Caesar?
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
And there's still Returnal.
Argus deployed.
Again,
Lost the words.
13 and 6, finding double digits in this game as well.
It's still doable for P100.
Yeah.
Pizza has a bit of ground on this square position. Cobra, not as lucky, still outside the building. He's got the diffuser as well, so if he dies here, things become really miserable for
Oh,
Pizza.
dear.
And he's going to
There
die
it
here.
is.
Yep, he dies here. Yasko catches him completely off guard, just hiding in the closet. Pizza now, with an absolute a mountain of
Nice
work
shot.
ahead of him, takes down Yasko. Fantastic shot. Can get closer to the site here. Takes down Konski to just a small amount of health. Instantly healed up though by those dog syringes, and Eternal, he's still lingering around this base floor.
Diffuser recollected though
The diffuser.
by Peter. Jesus Christ. And there's a Mozzie Pest as well. Completely, like, this drone can't do anything. He's going to have to push through the beepers himself. They know that they're there, expecting someone in server, however there isn't. But still, trying to push through into this 1 versus 3 is so incredibly difficult, but they've left this undefended.
He could play.
Needs to be aware of that position from Pizza. Knows he's there, and there's a C4.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay. Well, it looked close for a bit. If he was
It
able
did.
to maybe find, like, if goes unnoticed by Pizza, gets a plant down maybe on that reinforcement.
Or bait the plant and kill Pizza when he goes to throw the nitro. Either option
Yeah.
could have put him in a bit of a better spot. But
4 in a row from Team Missclick.
yeah, P100, they're not
Oh.
looking so hot at all here. Really on that decline. Missclick might just steal this away from them.
And my
Sure.
pretty little pattern is ruined, so thanks, Missclick.
Overtime is secure.
Attackers need
And,
to locate and defuse as many
It's
bombs as
at
they
least
can.
going to offer a bit of a safety net for P100 here. That being said, if you're losing 5 rounds in a row, losing an extra 2 certainly is not out of the question. You could definitely fall there. So
It's
again,
more in
P100
the question than winning, to be honest.
yeah, P100, they need to win this round. I think if it goes to overtime, Missclick will definitely manage to just snap it away here. 4 in a
Yeah.
row for that as it stands. Konski once again on that 4-1, so they're sticking with it.
They're
And
enjoying
Konski
the
got a shield.
Starting new magazine.
I know she used to. I'm not sure if she's still there. Because why would you not?
I
bring
don't know.
shield
I guess you want to bring the barbed wire to have that combination with
Reload.
with the razor bloom, slow the attackers down, so they've pushed in, then it goes off, they can't get out quick enough. That would be my assumption, but
Can confirm she does have a shield. So
yeah.
I guess I think it's a very foolish thing to try and get value, like damage value out of those gadgets. Just use them as a proximity thing, I'd say, and it's like airing
Yeah.
them out. When you're actually trying to get kills with them, I just think it's more effort than it's really worth.
Yeah.
for
I
Pizza,
mean,
though.
to be fair, they can also be used if you have the barbed wire behind you. You know you can't get out of time. You have to keep pushing forward, possibly into an attacking possibly into a defender's line of sight. We saw that the last time this site was played as well in round number 9. So
Yeah.
again, that could be the play here. Eternal's down here as well, though. When that razor bloom goes off, you have that sound cue for the C4. But look at this. When the going gets tough for Project 100, Cobra brings out the Montaigne.
Low attack.
It works on Chalet.
See you on the other side.
Will it work here on Bank?
Impact trick comes out from Yasko, but he's going to have, I was going to say he's going to have a lot more to deal with, but Cobra is opting for just this full ground floor clear here on the Monty eventually. Pellets will detonate. Plenty of barriers left here. Yeah, Cobra, he won't even play safe. He's getting all this ground below cleared, making sure that the ground floor isn't going to cause any problems. As these other players in P100, they're getting quite aggressive on these angles, but still, no shots are exchanged. As I say that, Yasko
What?
takes down one, Eternal
How?
gets another. It's all falling apart for P100 once
Located by
again.
attackers.
Nerd, though, does get one, and Caesar stops that Nitro cell. It's doable, and that power player of the Monty still on the board.
he's moving so quickly. Look at this.
didn't
Sonic
check
the
the elevator.
Montaigne up the banana stairs. But they don't know about Yasuo inside of elevator. They have no idea he's here. Caesar's taken down. It's just on Cobra. Konski's downed though with that pistol, but a 1 versus 4 is difficult enough, let alone on Montaigne.
Yeah, it's once again a situation where Cobra cannot win this himself. Missclick have to make a mistake. They have to play it poorly because there's just nothing Cobra can really do with this pistol. There's no way he can sort of get into the right positions here. It's just not possible. One defender I thought was jumping down there, but they're just vaulting out onto that balcony. They don't want to risk anything here. They're just monitoring it all, not putting themselves in a position where they might be in melee range.
Well,
Can't blame them. 5-6, they need to lock in this round to stay here. But overtime is looking like a reality here. Cobra challenged a little bit, does get one. Headshot somehow. But
yeah,
it's all for nothing. 6-6. We're going to OT. 5 rounds in a row for Team Missclick.
Unreal.
And that's with multiple pauses as well. So it's not even a continuous sort of a roll of momentum. They've had stoppages there, and they've still got away with it. Unbelievable.
Boy. So Clubhouse is happening then, yeah? That's the prediction?
I do
Attackers
think
need to locate
P100
and
are
defuse
not going
as
to
many
put
bombs as they
up
can.
a real fight in OT here. That being said, going down to the basement, they're still in this attack and they're
Monty is
opting for the
strong.
Monty. They can just charge through tunnel if they want, get that server control quickly, and then just sort of work backwards from there, get control of the board.
And
after
they
that.
beat it on the ammo room.
Oh, okay.
Oh
so
boy.
we have probably the most secure operator in that Monty and the riskiest in that Amaru, both being used here. So
they're gonna want to.
It's a risk.
To pressure the top floor early, right?
Yeah.
Get those roamers away, clear them out, and also okay, the Ashes come back in now. Makes more sense.
5
No,
seconds to go.
No, never mind.
never mind.
He's going for it. Locked in.
They're sticking it. Locked
Twitch
in.
as well to deal with those clear canisters is going to be nice. It will allow for an earlier execute there. So they've really read into this defense pretty well. Pizza though, it all kind of falls on his shoulders. An early death here could be horrible for P100.
Nearly got wallbanged actually by Eternal, who's been such a monster up on the top floor. 15 kills to his name and nearly a 16th. Peter taking a lot of damage but wriggles away and forces the Warden off. This is now top floor control within the first 30 seconds. Exactly what Project 100 were looking for. However,
Attackers have located
lots
a
of
bomb.
defenders elsewhere on the map. Pizza juices up Eternal back to 100 HP, but they're still making sure they have this top floor control. They can transition to this mid floor. Caesar's found Yasuo inside of open area. That's the transition. And this, the only player left on this ground floor then, I think, is Will inside of ATMs.
Yeah.
You've got the players sort of floating around main. Konski's actually rotating back up Marble, but yeah, it was too risky, and he's caught out by Peter. This round looking good for Project 100. However, Will might go up unnoticed. Surely, you know, another player doesn't rotate back up as the drop comes through down to that ground floor. Montaigne pressuring the bomb
Attacker's
site.
bomb diffuser has been dropped.
They don't have the diffuser yet, just dropped by Cobra, ready for the player to plant behind that cover of the shield. Will's dropped back as well to try and catch out some of those rotations down. Half the round now gone. The plant is being stuck, trying to bait out a C4. Impact grenade, I think, prepped. Pizza takes down Peter. That's a tongue twister. There's goes the C4 over the top. Cobra takes some damage, but Will actually took down Nerd. That planter being taken out from the hatch. They don't have this ground floor control, Joe.
No. I'm just questioning where these other two players are. They're eventually there to pick up the slack in square, but Will has escaped and he's still an active threat here. Fod needs to just bite the bullet.
Yeah,
He
no
has to
denial,
get this
though.
plant down. There's no denial. There's going to have to be based on gunfights. Bait Will out to get aggressive here. It's the best play. Will gets aggressive, gets taken down. A bit of a messy
Pizza's upset as well.
Pizza's success. I don't know if that hatch is open though. Takes down one Eternal close to the one side. 1 versus 2 in terms of guns here as Fod goes dangerously low but is eventually taken down. Cobra finishes him off. With this Monty on the board, it's basically unbeatable now with Pizza downed, secured, and P100, they're back on map point.
Oh my god. And now they're back on the defense. They've already won 5 defenses.
Yep.
Now they have halted the momentum. They found something a little bit of their own. It was a very good execute by all means. And now they're on the favoured side with a small piece of momentum. They've halted Team Missclick in their tracks after 5 rounds in a row. A double overtime game, and it might just go the way of Project 100 yet again, and we might see that 2-0 after all.
Yeah, we're seeing this basement being defended, I believe. We're seeing that duo of Cobra and Nerd back on their original picks, Jaeger and Smirk, that found so much value all the way back in round 1, I think it was. Just stalling the attack around blue. It was incredible play from them. The Valkyrie being brought as well, great for utility. Caesar out and about, potentially even able to halt Team Missclick if they try and sort of steal P100's Thunder and pick that Monty in their time of need. And then Peter on that all-consistent Warden, the great player there, great operator to sort of complement him. An interesting thing for P100 though, I think it just shows how even this matchup is. Only one of them is actually positive in kill count here. The others, we've got 2 other players on double digits, but they're also on double-digit deaths. So it just shows how sort of back and forth, how much of a bloodbath this match has really been.
Yeah. So again, like they're gonna feel confident here. Obviously, Project 100. Peter, has he been spotted out by the drone? Well, he definitely has now. Dips away. Very well played, doesn't overstay his welcome, doesn't get needlessly aggressive, shows some pressure, dips away. Missclick are still going to be wary of this position, even if he's now the other side of the map. It's very well played, but he's still floating around this sort of beepers area. Actually, no, that's Caesar. Peter is... No, Peter's in... Admin.
Here's
wow.
Admin.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
just proning.
Just very
still a
close
nuisance.
to no drop down.
And I think he's heard that door be opened. And they should also now be aware that
Oh no.
that this garage has been opened up. Peter knows that there's one on the left side of that door, but wasn't aware of the swing from the right. Knows that Caesar is close on this angle. Goes for the phone call. Hops back on the drone. Almost think being too cautious here, but obviously that's not really a thing. Yasko whiffs on the camera. But there's Pizza going down. The Dokkaebi couldn't find the impact from those from the drone, from any of it really.
Cobra's getting so aggressive there. I don't know why he's sort of exposing himself so much. Yasko on those white stairs takes down one crucial kill, evening the man count there. The rest of these Missclick players formulate and execute, but Nerd and Cobra, I believe, still on this blue side. I would hope Nerd is behind that server rack, and that he is. This is going to be.
Oh, there's an nade.
This is
he's still alive.
This is clearly a blue execute. Cobra just sprinted away from that nade, remains alive. Pomsky sort of almost lost for words, just trying to spam down his remaining utility. He has Cobra. He's back up there. Use all his toxic blades. The nade comes out, does kill him, but Nerd's still alive. He can just hide behind this server rack.
Yeah, now they don't have any more grenades to try and clear him out. They have to just go for the kills. No flashbangs either. They do have the concuss from the Zofia of Yasko. Are they even going to go for it though? Eternal's just pushing in 16 kills, tries to get 17. Does.
Ooh.
4 versus 2 now. Maximum OT maybe calling. Otto finds one, taken down. Peter now left in 1 versus 3. And actually gets a little bit of an angle, spots the shoulder, but can't find the full collection. Still waiting for his first one to come through. There's that concuss. The double swing isn't going to connect, but Peter is so low. Here's comes the swing. Here's the pistol from Eternal. Up to 18 in the game, or even 19, I think. Pushing for that 20 bomb, pushing for a record, and pushing for that map win, because we need all 15 here, Joe. And again, Missclick are on the defense. It's been a very attacking sided OT so far, but 6 in the last 7 for Missclick. And they're on the favoured side.
Yep. It seemed so doable for P100 there, and I think there was a bit of miscommunication. There was definitely a camera in blue that could have called the Yana swinging, but Nerd seemed like he had no idea there was a player actually encroaching on him, so he just stood his ground and got swung there, simple as. Cobra though, important back on this Monty. It's something that Team Missclick really have shown they can't really deal with. Sure, Yasko is on the Oryx, but Cobra always likes playing alongside his teammates, so we're not going to be seeing a Monty knocked down unless, say, Cobra is the last person alive. So it's going to be difficult for them. Twitch being brought once again, directly countering Konski there on the Goyo. Pizza on the dock as well, just to heal up those roamers. But really, this is pretty standard play here. Ford on that book, likely going to have the hard breach charges. I imagine Cobra has hard breach as well, although begs the question of where are the smokes. I'd imagine Nerd has them, so... Oh no, only 2 sets of hard breach charges. If Fod dies early, this would likely be the map for Team Missclick here, as there's basically no sort of adaptability for this P100 lineup there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, last-ditch effort. Clubhouse looked like an impossibility at the half. Looked like an impossibility at the start of this game. Yasko's making it look like almost an inevitability. Finding the opening pick. Konski spots that Montaigne. Uses an impact grenade just to clear it. But now has to dip away. No more of those impacts left. No more of that utility. And Project 100 now heading towards the bomb site. Basement yet again from these teams. Will, has he spotted that Yana? Oh my god, I don't think he has, but the camera being shot at and taken down, they will definitely know that there's presence inside a garage now. But oh, this is far too close for comfort.
Yeah, 2 players on that basement, so there could still definitely be a response if Caesar chooses to get a bit aggressive here, but quite wisely, as it's round 15, he's playing very passively, waiting for the rest of his team to strike, to create a bit of chaos so he can slip in. Ford on this top square as well, he's basically just holding cutoff angles here, droning around. I'm a bit puzzled as to why they're spending so much time droning a Monty around. Of course, he can't sort of see in multiple directions, but he himself acts basically as one big drone, and with no one actively really following him, his sort of usage is definitely less valuable as Ford falls to a long angle. Yasko downs him. He should be recovered, I believe, as Cobra pushes ever forward. Diffuser in hand as well, so if things go wrong for him, it could truly ruin this entire P100 attack, and just for that reason, he chooses to pull away, but not before Konski takes on Caesar, and that's all of that pressure from the garage gone short. Yasko traded, but 4 versus 3 in less than a minute, they're going to need a miracle.
Yeah, Will's still up here as well. A lot of these defenders ready to flank when this execute comes through. Hodge spotted out Will there, taken out through the walls on such low HP, but it doesn't matter because it was a headshot anyway. Cobra's the one with the diffuser, and Nerd's taking damage from the hatch. This looks impossible for Project 100 to win. The time continuing to tick down as well. Eternal takes a drop. There's the C4. That should be the end of Cobra. No, the shield does just enough. Nerd finds Konski as well in the midst of it, but there's Cobra going down. Diffuser dropped in sight. Nerd needs to clutch, and he can't get it done. Will from Team Missclick takes his team across the line. 8 rounds to 7. Clubhouse on the cards. Clubhouse in play. Map 2 goes away. Team Missclick. We're tied up, Joe, 1-1.
Against all odds, 6-1 down, they break through, they get to OT, and they keep on winning.
Ridiculous.
Despite P100 getting that round 13. Despite all of that, they still end up getting on top, and we're going to Clubhouse now. We're going to a third map. Previously unseen territory for these 2 teams when matched up together. And I, for one, am very excited to see where this leads.
As am I, but we're going to throw to a quick break before we do get to see Clubhouse. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with map 3 of this banger of a series. Man, how do you break that one down, Joe? That was one of the games of all time.
It was a choke. I'll say that it was a very, very big choke. 6-1, and P100 just can't finish their food apparently. Missclick took it all the way to OT and then beat them in round 15. So now we're off to Clubhouse.
Okay. Clubhouse.
It probably shouldn't have come to this. From the match chat, even the people in P100 don't seem to really think that the past sort of 40 minutes just happened. But it did, and it is not a good look for P100 going into this third map. They are a momentum-based team, and despite coming off of a eventual win in Chalet and a very good start in Bank, that momentum just suddenly stopped, and now they are on the very steep decline heading into Clubhouse. So this could really be quite a quick map if Missclick just comes out swinging, dealing with these players from P100. I think we've already had a substitute out, so immediately that means only 4 of those players on P100 actually have had that sort of 2 maps worth of experience playing today.
Yeah.
So we
but
could
only
be
4
seeing
out of the 5 have just choked a 6-1 lead. So
true.
there is that.
There is definitely
they're fresh on the
bright
mantle.
spots. But again, when you're playing against a team of 5 players who've been playing 2 maps now, they've just come off of a 6-1 comeback, you are probably going to perform worse than them. Just simple as you're not in the zone, you're not sort of warmed up compared to them, you don't have that mental high that they're coming off of either. So things might go very badly for P100 here as they just immediately opt to take away that Hibana. So a ban primarily chosen just to stop the attack from being able to defend basement that easy, I'd imagine. Basement kind of relies on a lot of hatches being opened, and that's the thing that Hibana absolutely excels at.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to say, you know, I chatted with Konski before the game as well, and he said that Team Missclick actually weren't really that confident coming into this series. You know, we've brought up the internal issues that they had. They had lost the series to Project 100 before, who looked like a lot of need to get my teeth back in, who looked like a much stronger side. But that bank has, you have to say, it's probably rejuvenated them quite a bit.
Yeah, I would certainly say so. As we finish off this ban phase, Nook being taken off the board, fairly standard. Another set of nades gone for the attack. Fenrir ban, a little bit more interesting, obviously, very strong, but primarily I think that's going to open up a lot more pushes around the sort of tunnel area, which Fenrir is often very strong in because of how cramped it is. Through construction as well as another sort of bottleneck that you can get in through a lot easier.
Rafters as well, I think.
Yeah. Solace being taken off the board, fairly standard, of course. Means Azami and Valk are once again in play. Fod immediately hopping onto that Azami, very strong operator. Potentially going to be holding down
need to locate and defuse as many bombs
construction. You can create a lot more sort of bunkery angles there, especially when you're holding above bar. As bar is that first pick, an option we see a lot of teams do more and more nowadays is just open with that bar, see how it works. If you lose it, oh well, you've still got basement, you've still got gym. If you win it, congrats, you've won your tertiary site. So it's certainly an interesting pick there. We're seeing more and more of it, but it is a risk. It's a gamble. And at the end of the day, it's a gamble that could give Missclick that first round in this match.
And we know how heavily Project 100 rely on momentum. It's a risky strategy. But, you know, they've gone for it. Also, you know, we're seeing CC come back into the defensive rotations now through the off-season. We've seen it on, like, Combine and Rainbow Rumble, and even looking towards like more tier 4 competitions and Talent League and everything like that. We're seeing CC even become primary sites for some teams, and that has left bar now again being rarely played. So it's interesting to say the least.
Bomb located by attackers.
But that being said, it's still that strategy, like you mentioned. They want to see how it plays out. If it works out for them, then that's great because you've just won bar. That doesn't often happen. As this top floor is now coming under some increasing pressure. Nerd's still sticking around on this mirror window that he has created for himself. The Selma, one caught by a magnet, the other one opens up that breach. Konski, I think, should only have 1 left. I've even used that final one as well. So this could be a lot of hard breach missing. Well, it doesn't matter if you used it or not. J1 gets the first pick.
Yeah, that's the ace taken off the board. I believe he used at least 2 of his charges there. And it's still got a thermite as well, so not the end of the world, but a pick is still a pick. And when you're failing to really gain that much ground like Missclick are, that one drop only becomes a lot more impactful. They really need to start getting P100 out of these positions as well. Going to try and get a breach onto that construction wall there. Not placing it to the right interestingly enough, so it won't do any damage to the logistics office wall. As elsewhere, Yasko taken off the board by Nerd here, so still P100 looking very strong on this defense.
Bod just watching for Eternal to break open that key barrier sound cue. You're going to hear that one and collects up on it as well. Eternal, who's had some massive games for Team Missclick, got like 20 or 19 or 20 kills in that previous map, had I think 16 on Chalet as well. So he's been doing a lot for the team. This time around, it's Pizza who finds that impact for Team Missclick, taking out J1 inside of that bedroom. Vods now also in a very difficult position, able to dip away from it, and Will's now in a very difficult spot. Mirror window punched out, that's going to deny some information for Nerd. Bod goes hunting, but it's actually going to be the C4 from Caesar that shuts things out. Up through the hatch, Caesar gets like, and there it is. First round goes away in Project 100, but again, P100, they were 5-1, they were 6-1 up even on bank, and we've had to come to Clubhouse. So, you know, round one, by no means an indication, but getting that victory on bar stage, like we said, has to be a positive.
Yeah, tertiary site 1 immediately. Now you can head to these more comfortable positions like basement, like bedroom gym. So they're going to be rocking that basement site first. Mirror being brought once again, likely just to observe that main stairs and also around that oil pit area. Kayad as well being brought is going to necessitate some kind of EMP. Pizza, I think, is going to fill up that role with those impact EMPs, but that's a lot worse than the Thatcher. They've got a much smaller range, and there's only 2 of them. So if Nerd was tricking a hatch, they would only be able to actually get a single hatch because they just don't have the EMPs, the number of EMPs to deal with that properly. So they're still sticking with these settings, not bringing Thatcher instead. They must value the line scans utility over getting the hatch open, which is perfectly reasonable, especially if 100 are going for a wider roam, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they are. 4 players in the basement, J1 up those blue stairs, but I only really see 1 player fully off site, and he's lingering close to those main stairs.
Yeah, it's one of the ways you can play on this basement. You've got Nerd as well prepping, ready to put some electro claws down onto this hatch, trick it out. As he sees that being taken down, he's just going to throw the claw up, but I don't actually know if that will collect in time. I think, I'm not too sure. Koski doesn't seem too bothered about it, so I would assume that Moto hatch has been opened up already. And they didn't, interestingly, they only had the 2 impact EMPs on Pizza, so he probably could have been able to commit it first off, but no, actually, the Electric Claw has been able to trick the hatch, but they know where it is. Here comes the impact EMP. Nerd, I don't think he's anywhere near to trick that. Instead, he's looking more towards this blue hatch instead. So Moto opened up.
Very much could have tricked that, I've got to say.
Yeah.
You had the utility to. It would have halted the attack a lot more. Moto hatch, kind of crucial for this push that they're going for here.
Yeah.
Kitchen is just going to be a kill zone really until the very final second. So they need to inject that little bit of chaos around the point. So get the Moto hatch open. But Nerd doesn't go for it. Instead, prioritizing walls, I believe, around blue as Nate's moving into taking down a little bit of health. Still has that window to hide behind.
There's nothing C4 to get the Selma.
Well, I guess when it comes to these small margins, maybe the mirror is exactly what you need. Oh well, here comes another ace charge. You aren't going to deal with that. Caesar just gets slaughtered there.
Yeah, Nerd finds one back with a TTFG. Pizza as well, nearly gets an aid stuck to his forehead by the magnet, but it's actually Hotspur who finds 2, taken down Yasko and Will yet again into a 3 versus 2 for Team Missclick. This bunkery setup has allowed so much time for Missclick to really suffocate this defense of Project 100, but it doesn't. I mean, if Nerd's hitting shots like that, then what does it matter? Will pushing in through Moto. He's actually getting the plant down. You have some coverage from Yasko here on blue. Takes a swing, but Nerd's actually just hitting these shots with the TCSG. Somehow finds these kills. That shouldn't happen. And there's absolutely no reaction from Will. Still continuing to stick the plant. And he's going to get punished for it. 2 rounds on the board from Project 100.
Yep, very, very clean kills there from Nerd on that Kaya there. So he more than made up for
So
perhaps
well done.
the questionable utility usage there with that TCSG. And they've got a second round on the board now for P100. They're going to this secondary
Attackers
site now,
need to
Twin
locate
Veteran.
and defuse
Go to the first round, all the way down on bar. So they've got a very good start, a very good staging point to take this map fairly quickly here. J1 as well, 2-2. So despite not having sort of the warm up the remaining 9 players in the lobby have, he's still holding up, keeping well with the remaining players here. Nothing too out of the ordinary with these setups so far. Of course, attacker repick can make way for a whole host of interesting picks, but I guess the most out of the ordinary thing here, the actual Thatcher being brought here, mainly just to deal with, I guess, the bandit, I suppose. Even then, bandit tricking isn't really not counted by a Thatcher, so maybe they just want to use the EMPs so they can quickly just throw them and forget about it. They don't have to worry about precisely aiming them like you would with the impact. But it's interesting that they only now choose to deal with it when they're actually against the one sort of defender that sort of counters it with that bandit.
Is Konski okay? Okay, he's moving again. He's up. We're ready to go. Caesar's taken a bit of damage actually. This vertical angle through the billiards hatch is proving a little bit dangerous to play. This gym side is becoming a little bit of a hot zone for this attacking pressure as you have those windows being pressured. You have pressure from the hatch. Yasko though is taken down so low by Fod that just shouldn't really be an angle that the defense is actually pressuring, but somehow he's able to at least get away with it. Yasko's on about 10 HP, a lot worse off than the Azami themselves. And here comes the MP. It's going to be tricked though by Nerd, who's got that one down. That's 2 Selmas burnt away. Konski is now out because of the use of the Selma over on the other side. They don't actually have any other hard breach. There has to be now another angle of attack. This is monumental.
Yeah, that combined with the Azami barriers sort of protecting them from that gym window allows for that jacuzzi wall to almost be a safe spot for the defense there. That corner, they can just hold down, play their defenders there to hold these longer angles. It's going to require a lot more effort from the attack. Only 3 nades remaining as well. Will is probably going to have to try and dislodge someone from around gym as Caesar takes down Cons. It's getting worse. Eternal doesn't check his corners. Caesar takes him down, as you said. Only 1 nade remaining now, still with Azami on the board with that safe spot of Jacuzzi. Things are going to get very difficult for Missclick here as P100 look to get this flawless rotation.
Yasko solo as well. Fod just prones at the right time. Caesar takes down Pizza, and there's other angles to look for. Yasko, head on a swivel, has to be alert of every angle that this defense can swing from, and Will is going to be rotating over to this side as well. Attack looking so difficult, and Fod is out here watching. Do they expect it? Doesn't matter. Pizza actually from Garage is able to take that one, tries to swing into free fire from Will, spots the player up on the roof, takes him down. Flawless round denied. At least there's something there. Padding of the stats, you could say. But yeah, 1v5 not possible. You've got all of these angles being held, all of these angles being watched, and there's just no time for Will to work with, and it's just not happening. This is 3 now on the board for Project 100, unless something goes drastically wrong. If he was able to win it from there, I would have been very surprised.
Operators, you are out of
well, I can't say it's been done before, the 1 second 1 versus 4 clutch, so Will, quite rightfully, is just saving KD there, really. There's no real attempt that can be made in that situation, so just talk it out with your team, see where you've gone wrong, and P100, they really need to be talking about where things have suddenly gone right. 3-0 after a crippling loss. They've really bounced back here. Going all the way back down to bar now, as that is the first site they chose here on Clubhouse. So they're going to have to make this magic work twice. But if it does, that's going to set them up beautifully, because then they can go right back down to basement and right up to gym bedroom if they need to. We could be seeing a 6-0 half here, realistically, if this bar goes well. 4-0 already is a fantastic half. You've won your 4 defensive rounds here. And even not, you've got these other 2 incredibly strong sites to pick from afterwards. So P100, great squad after this flawless rotation, as they're going to be trying most of the same stuff, bringing that castle once again. And one thing I would like to see from Missclick here, maybe opt into bringing one of those more specialized operators like the Flores to deal with this setup, particularly to deal with the castle barricades.
Thing is, you mentioned, you know, even if they lose this, they have 2 other sites to choose.
Attackers' objective.
I don't trust Project 100 with a 5-1 half. Not after bank.
You trust them with a 6-0 half?
I mean,
Keep us updated.
probably not. I mean, you know, they lost from 6-1. All it takes is 1 win from Team Missclick even after a 6-0 half, which, you know, you'd expect them going onto the defensive clubhouse, and they're in Project 100 are in that exact same spot again. It's not safe anymore by any means, and this time he is going to put it over to the right, to the right. There you go, and get more walking nerds fuddled. But either way, early vertical pressure actually. Konski's already inside a bathroom. Fod needs to be careful here because I don't think he knows that Konski's already up here, and well. Hotspur's certainly not aware of it. Just taken down. Konski pushing for a second.
No!
He should have hit that shot. No! And Nerd closes him out with the secondary shotgun. Ita 12 going huge. Oh! Kill onto Eternal. The pressure mounting around him. There's nowhere safe inside of construction. Has to nip away. Nowhere safe to rotate out to. But he's still able to take down Will. Somehow it was a great start from Team Missclick, but they're crumbling yet again. Yasko can't get anything back. Fox on a triple, and Team Missclick are crumbling. Project 100, they just cannot be stopped right now.
It's really... they've just got the confidence. P100, I don't know where they found it from. They're absolute worst, throwing that 6-1 half. They've come out and just been created into an absolute monster. Pizza gets 1, but with all these P100 defenders so desperate for a kill, just hitting at him constantly. 1 health. This is completely impossible here for Pizza to win this on such a low amount of HP. You've still got Fod up there, causing an absolute ruckus. 4 kills for him that round. P100.
Unbelievable.
4-0.
I don't know what to say. I really don't.
It's all down to Konski, and as much as I kind of hate to single him out, he clearly just had a whiff there, but if he doesn't lose that gunfight, P100 probably lose that round. I can't imagine they would be able to get that
a key
control back on the top floor. But because he
hold on, positivity. Let's switch the focus.
Great response from the mirror.
Great kill from Nerd. Great kill from Nerd.
Fantastic flick from Nerd. Really maintaining compose in that situation where you've just been shot from behind you. Fantastic composure remained from Nerd there. And honestly, like actually as a good thing. Fantastic from P100 to keep the ball rolling from that 1 pick. Getting that even man count, then they just keep on finding these fights. Great shots from Ford throughout that round as well. Fantastic play from him there. And they really just turned what would have been a bad situation into an incredibly good one.
Yeah,
and of course, despite dragging Konski down, he did do a fantastic job at the very start of that round, getting upstairs so early, getting that first pick. And if you close your eyes after that, you had a very good impact on that round.
It's unfortunate that's the way things go from 0 to 0 inside of the round, but I mean, the momentum keeps on rolling. Fod was 1-1, now 5-1 after just that 1 round. It's incredible what difference a round can make, and well, what effect that will have on the mentals on both of these teams as well. We talk about Siege, obviously it is an FPS, it's won on the gunfights, but the mental side of the game is such an incredible factor in the way these games are won and lost. That's why we talk about momentum. It's an abstract concept, but it is such a real part of this game. It's such a real part of the competition, and Team Missclick are going to be feeling the effects of that, as we saw Project 100 feel the negative side effects in that second half of Bank. Peter, what are you cooking up here? Konski's actually pushed through. He knows something is going on, does Konski. He's not entirely sure up on this top floor. Opens up the bathroom. Peter somehow evading being spotted, although he's not actually watching. Konski that's a key gunfight to win. I thought Peter was going to be able to get away, but Missclick, maybe that round they had it within their grasp realistically. And now they're fired up. Now they know that they can get into winning positions and they found 5 versus 3.
Yeah, I like the idea for Peter that originally when they defended basement, he played around that main stairs, shot some drones, went downstairs. This time the exact opposite. He went